There we go. Alright. So first up, howdy everyone. I'm Lazy Ruin, and today I've got something a little bit special for y'all. Today I have the person who has actually been updating the dust loot charts on Galleons specifically, Laquai. Say hello.
Hello.
And today we're going to be working on a little special thing, a matchup chart, where we're basically going to be going over basically every single matchup that Galleon has, and discussing it basically, and discussing what I think are good matchups, what I think are some horrendous matchups. And, okay. I'll fix this. In a while since I've done it where I had to switch between two different screens. But hopefully we should be on it. But first, we're going to be looking at the tier list.
Yep.
The tier list maker. So as you can see, we have quite a few categories, which we're probably going to be changing some of them. Because I do know you kind of disagree with me on this certain thing about Galleon being a Shoto Destroyer. But I think...
Yeah.
I think the first thing to work on is we can agree on what is the worst matchup, right?
The worst matchup? The absolute worst matchup?
Yeah.
It's fair. Yeah. I would say that Ferry is Galleon's worst matchup, and Galleon versus Ferry is probably the worst matchup in the game. I don't think there's a matchup that encapsulates the amount of helplessness that a Galleon faces when going against Ferry. I don't think there's a single matchup that kind of comes close.
Yeah.
Like there's the Nier Lucilius that I think is really bad. And then Ferry Ladiva is also bad.
Yeah, but at least then Ladiva has like a neutral skip option that can kind of help her out. Galleon has all the problems of the Ladiva Ferry matchup, but then doesn't have like a burst option to get through.
Yep. And the game plan of like sitting just outside of Ferry's normals and then crushing them with one of your own. Ladiva always is in range for her 2-1-4U, and Galleon has to use 2-2U, which if she's outside of Ferry's range, she doesn't get a conversion on. So you get a knockdown and that's it, and Ladiva gets a full combo and the corner off of playing that game, which is it's literally gambling. Because you have to guess that your normal is just slightly faster than Ferry's.
Oh, there was also something else I wanted to discuss a little bit before we started going into the characters. But fair enough, I did have to put out Ferry because it is very clearly, like, this is the worst matchup that Galleon could potentially have in the entire game.
Yep.
So there's basically, I'm going to go really quickly over Galleon's, like, main game plan and main strengths real quick. So Galleon's main source is that she's a character that plays in the mid-range. So basically not up close, but not max range either. In this mid-range where basically you'll have buttons to spread out and such, where her whole game plan is to get one hit to convert into this little trap to do rocks that goes into many mix-up options. And basically the idea is, once you get the first hit, you combo into another setup, and Galleon's biggest strength is the influence of trap. And now there's two ways to get around this trap. Either you play at the max range where Galleon gets very little reward off, like here, or the idea is you basically play very up close and aggressively to where Galleon can't really interact with her trap because her buttons are on the slow side up close. Galleon has basically a very powerful mid-range presence, but then starts weakening if you get super far away or if you're very up close because she doesn't have a 5-frame light and she does not have a mirrorless DP. So typically there's two schools of thought of trying to deal with Galleon. Either you try to rush past her and basically get up close to her to where her defense struggles, or you play a very far range to where her terrifying offense isn't that scary. Of the two schools, I think the zoning, the far range school will work better when you're fighting against Galleon, because with the up close, you have to still get past mid-range in the first place, and Galleon is built around punishing you of getting in the first place. So a rushdown character has to already kind of traverse her zone, while a long-range character can basically already be outside of the zone in the first place, and forcing Galleon to approach because Galleon is a slow character. Her walk speed is faster than normal, but in return, her dash speed is actually slower, and he actually has one of the worst 6XLs in the game. And there's also the fact that she doesn't have like a skip option that most of the other characters of the cast do. Her best case is her 236H, but the hitbox actually the hurtbox actually comes out first, which means it can be counter hit quite often. And there's also another reason why I think the zoning approach is even better, because nowadays Galleon received a buff to her 2-2M, which actually lets her put the trap in front of her now. Beforehand, if you had trap under the opponent, they could just basically like rush in and basically try to ignore it. Like basically just rush in with a neutral skip option or something like that. But now because
or just sprint, or just like dash in. Like they see the animation, they start sprinting, and now the rock is behind them. So even if you get a hit, they're out of it. Yep.
But now because of 2-2M, they see the trap and they instantly assume, oh, I'm gonna approach now, and they end walking into your trap with a counter hit, and you get a full combo, get Oki. Like basically, it's become so much more riskier to rush down on her, which basically the change has made me think that her close range, her matchups against Rushdown got even better, in my opinion.
I think so too. I think 2-2M, I do miss the ability to go from 0 to level 4, but now that level 4 gives you 2 rocks, level 3 gives you 2 rocks. I think it's a worthwhile change to be able to have that control, and I think it makes her game plan of like slowly walking down and then inching the meteor forward. It's a lot stronger now.
Yeah, no, they made her inevitability even better now, because the biggest problem before was like if you were trying to approach with this, they could sometimes just like end up rushing you and such when you're trying to do a call out. But now with this, there's actually a guaranteed way of just slowly moving forward and have this inevitability come across. And eventually, because the fact of the matter is, Galleon in the corner with level 3 rock is probably the scariest position in the game. Because straight up, this is an offense because this offense right here is so powerful, it's immune to so many different defensive mechanics. Like, the strongest defensive mechanic in this game is Brave Counter, and Galleon's best offense basically ignores this mechanic entirely.
Yeah.
In fact, it has like multiple punished windows of them trying to do it.
Galleon with the rock under you in the corner, some of the scariest situations in the game are some of the set play characters, like Ferry having GG under you, Kag cornering you with traps, Vira off a knockdown with Lumi. All of these like set play situations, they're all super strong and super scary to deal with, but Galleons is the only one that you can't interact with. Like, Galleon is in complete control of her set play, versus the other characters, like if you brave counter them, all of them go away. But it's different for Galleon.
Well, Ferry does have a few that punish a brave counter, but you are correct. Where basically Galleon's whole pressure is basically forcing the opponent to have to do a risky option or a risky call out at one point eventually. Like, there's not.
But even Ferry's like she has to call out the brave counter by either spot dodging or doing a DP while Ferry's underneath you or GG's underneath you. But Galleon, like, she's just doing what she's already doing, like, which is like far heavy 5U, all of that. It's like plus, it's brave counter space, it beats it, like,
and so you eventually get for a grab inside. And there's also the thing, like, eventually the opponent has to eventually react to something because you are doing actually significant chip here.
That's something that I write about too, or I wrote about. Like, if you're gonna take Oki or the Meteor, most of the time the Meteor is better because, like, the chip damage you're gonna get off of using the Meteor and being plus in their face is usually worth like 1 or 2 hits of a combo. So if you end your combo 1 or 2 hits early to get a better meteorite placement, then like you're getting it back the next time you make them block far heavy. And you're plus 16.
Yeah, like, legitimately, you actually see the HP drop from the bar right there from a single rock. That's a significant amount. Like, Galleon has 50%, some insane chip damage.
50% of the meteorite. So when you have a level 3 meteorite, it does 1300 plus 900, like, just on hits, and on chip that's 650 and then 450. So that's more than 1,000 damage in chip for getting a level 3 meteorite. That's your heavy cooldown if you hold it. You get 1300 damage of chip, which is insane.
Yeah, but basically what makes Ferry a really, really problematic matchup is because Galleon is supposed to be the queen of the mid zone, basically. Like, you are supposed to either be able to rush down her or play super far away. Ferry basically plays at the same distance as Galleon, but because of how her normals work with whip and such, she basically outranges Galleon a tiny bit, and this little bit of outrange that she has basically means Galleon's entire zone is kind of invalidated. Like, if we would say Galleon controls the zone over here, Ferry then controls the zone over here, and basically just outplays Galleon the whole time, because Galleon has basically very little options to do anything. And then there's also the fact that, like, Ferry's offense is also really strong against Galleon, because as we said before, Galleon's defense up close is not that great. She has a 6-frame light and only like a meterless DP, and Ferry in the meanwhile has all this GG mix, which is basically kind of like a lot of guesses that you're going to have to do against Ferry. Which makes it really hard for Galleon to basically play the game.
Yeah. I think the other thing that makes Ferry particularly difficult is that her zoning is unreactable. It's always a far normal into, like, you're guessing on whether she's predicting your jump, your roll, your spot dodge, and you can't react to that far normal. If you're in the range of the far normal, you have to hold that, like, kind of semi-RPS afterwards.
Yeah. Like, for example, a lot of Ferries will do, like, far heavy dodge, trying to get you to roll on something. And then you get punished.
And even if it's not, like, super good, like, she's only going to get, like, 1,000 damage if she hits you with that, it's super annoying to deal with. And as Galleon, you can't close the distance that quickly, so you have to deal with it more than other characters. It's the same thing with Ladiva, except Ladiva can, like, say, fuck it, bro, I got 50 meter, I'm going to go in the downtime and see if she knows how to spot dodge to it. Ladiva can say, I have 100 meter and I'm in SBA range. I'm just going to Twitch react to anything Ferry does, and I'm going to super.
Yeah.
Galleon doesn't get that privilege.
The stuff that Galleon needs to do is basically... Another thing is, it's also really hard for you to call out GG if she's summoning GG like this. It's
a really hard reaction check.
It's a really hard reaction check with 2-2-U to catch. And there's also the fact that you're gonna have to be doing a lot of neutral grappler jumps against Ferry. Like, you need to be trying to get some sort of space. And the best way to do that is going to be doing from these neutral jumps. And when Ferry tries to do that RPS, to get a 236H out.
Yep. That's
kind of like the main things. And basically, the nice thing about this matchup is that once you get Ferry in the actual corner, it's almost going to be next to impossible for her to actually get out. Like, that's the one good thing about this. It's just the problem is you don't have a neutral skip, so you're going to have to walk through that minefield in order to actually get in. But yeah,
I hate the Ferry matchup. I hate it so much.
Everyone hates the Ferry matchup, don't worry.
I think as I've gotten older, which is like over the 2 years that this game has been out, and the like, how many months has Galleon been out? Like,
Galleon, I actually don't remember when Galleon came out.
I think like 7 months ago.
I'll check it in post.
An August release or something. But over the time, like, I've definitely gotten more used to just kind of walking down a ferry. The Galleon was first introduced
on May.
Okay.
Late May.
So it's been 10 months.
Yep.
Wow, almost a year. Wow. But I've definitely gotten more comfortable just kind of like walking and blocking. And I think the matchup that actually helped me get used to that kind of playstyle was the Ilsa matchup. I don't know if we want to like go back to the tier list or not.
Yeah, we can go talk about Ilsa real quick.
But the Ilsa matchup, and particularly her laser spam, is difficult for Galleon to deal with. Oh, actually, before we start placing characters, we should probably go through the tiers again.
Fair enough. So originally, I had this tier list a while back where I basically had this tier known as Shadow Destroyer. Granted, I know that you kind of disagree on that idea, but I also have Galleon Advantage. Because I don't like doing the numbers, because the numbers can kind of be a bit disingenuous, or like a bit too mechanical when there's a lot of nuance. Like, because if you put down like 6-4 against Galleon, people will think, oh, that's really bad. But then then there's so much nuance in that matchup and such. So I
would say my style of like the tier list, it is kind of numbers based, but my like one tier above even is like the 0.5, because like the 6-4, that's like a 20% gap. Like there's a 20% chance that the matchup is different than something is even. And I think that's really, really significant for something that probably is not that influenced by the character choices, at least in a game like Rising.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Rising is quite balanced with a lot of its characters and such.
I think the kind of like the wordage that I would use describing on the Dust Loop is like slight advantage, slight disadvantage, advantage, heavy disadvantage, that kind of stuff. Where it's like the character has an inherent edge, but it would be slight. It would be noticeable. It would be very noticeable. That type of stuff. And I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't think there's a single matchup where Galleon has the clear advantage.
Oh no, I actually have quite a few that I actually do believe.
Okay.
But yeah, first we're gonna go talk with Ilsa. So Ilsa's kind of interesting because you did talk about the laser spam, but the thing is about the laser spam is that that's kind of like Ilsa's only tool, and if Galleon wins that a single time, Ilsa is just lost because almost every other Ilsa playstyle that Ilsa has, Ilsa's losing.
Yeah. Ilsa, like, the laser spam itself, I think, is not that bad. I think a lot of people like get caught up in trying to walk after they get hit. Yeah, they try to use the dash macro and they get caught in the like state that you can't block. But even if you use the dash macro, you can strive it, where you tap dash macro and then hold down back in between her lasers, and she can't hit you. Like, she has to do something like that sequence right there, where she does heavy laser
and specifically why I was doing it, because she has to do that specific sequence. Otherwise, if she's just trying to spam laser like this, hold up, where she's just trying to spam laser like this, she's going to get actually counter hit.
Yep. If she does the light laser and you immediately 2-2, the only thing that beats it is the heavy laser afterwards. So she has to put her greatest zoning tool on cooldown. Oh, even the heavy laser lost.
No, she has to spend meter.
Yeah, okay.
She has to spend meter or instantly spot dodge. Which means her best tool against dealing with Galleon is an RPS that can work heavily against her, because as you saw, a single 2-2U, we're in my range already.
Yep.
And at this point,
when
Ilsa's
she starts doing that,
lost.
Yeah, when she starts doing the like spot dodge RPS and she's like kind of saying, okay, I need to respect what the Galleon is doing, you just, whenever you block the laser, you tap the dash macro and then you down back, and then even if she sends another one immediately after, you've gained more space than you've lost by blocking 2. So you just do that over and over. You tap the dash macro and then go down back. And that creeps you up, yeah.
You have enough time to do a little tiny bit of dash to get some space. It's actually kind of easy to do that than do the walk and hold back thing.
Because you don't even have to hold forward at all, because you can just use the dash macro as your like forward input, and then be on your block input. Even if you use the guard button, you won't get a roll because you're not holding a direction. It's like a plug and play. Like, you just press one and then press the other. Press one.
That's actually a lot more easier, yeah.
And then you also have the added bonus of anytime you block the uncharged light laser, if you do the 2-2U, it'll counter hit everything. And then once you get into 5U range, you can instead do that, and that will beat everything. And you'll be in range where she like flies up and you get the 6-6H conversion.
Yeah, like around
that's what I think is
like there.
Yeah.
It's kind of why
the heavy version beats it.
And then there's also the fact of the matter is there's also some Ilsas that don't realize that they have to play the laser matchup like that, and they'll actually try to play like their aggressive rushdown stuff or like their mid-range buttons. But the fact of the matter is Galleon's going to win that trade.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, you are playing straight into Galleon's game plan at that point. And Ilsa is also a character that doesn't have a mirrorless reversal, which means, once again, once you get in this corner, Ilsa has to basically pray for a lucky option to get out.
She also has some, like, even going back to the laser, when she does the Gold Lewis drone, like EX drone, or she reloads, you get a free meteorite.
Yeah.
So you're slowly placing meteorites underneath her. She's probably backdashing like after like a couple lasers or something like that. You place a meteorite off of a backdash. You place a meteorite off of the drone. You place a meteorite every time she reloads, and you're slowly building up the meteorite and then walking her to the corner. The range that I think she's actually stronger in is like right at the tip of
her 2M.
Of her 2M. Okay, that's actually a different range. Well, 2M is one of the considerations, I think.
Yeah. The thing is, though, the biggest thing that, because as I've been practicing this matchup also a bit, a lot of Ilsas like to try to space out with their heavy and 2M there because of the zoning thing, but 2v6L kind of just beats it out.
Yeah.
So basically, you start playing, you just start outranging with this as well, and then you can just start counter punishing that, and then you get the counter hit, and then you can just start converting off that as well.
The kind of range that I was thinking about, I was playing in, I don't remember what bracket it was. It was right after Ilsa released, and I was playing against, I think it was Elsa, where she picked up Ilsa for a bit. She would stay at like max 5U range for Galleon, and then she would play this game of, am I going to like space 66H or not? Like she would give up the laser game
for this,
and then she would like dash cancel, walk back, dash cancel, walk back, kind of like that. But she would like always space the 66H super well. And when it didn't catch me walking forward, like her 66H is huge.
It is, but it all is -8, so I don't really see a way where you can make this safe from 5M. I mean, from far medium.
I think you're just doing it too close.
I just
you get like
okay, from
start
there.
putting it
Okay,
full screen.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she was doing that to me, and I was like, what the fuck is that 66H? And that's kind of the like, once she hit me once with that, I was like, oh wait, I have to think about what I'm doing, because that move was just huge. But the 2M being 7 frames and actually pretty long range is another like kind of tick point that I say on the matchup.
Yeah, that is something I did want to notify. There's going to be a big importance on if a character has a 7-frame medium or an 8-frame medium. Because Galleon is a character that only has 8-frame mediums, which means if we're in a grab tech situation, you kind of have to see, you have to kind of let the opponent just act, because you're going to get counter hit by their medium.
I don't know if I've actually checked. Can you check if Ilsa's in the corner and she does the crouching medium on throw break? Can you walk backwards, or will it trigger proximity guard?
Okay, first off, I need to make sure how they do grab tech. I don't think I've ever practiced that.
It's the throw break setting, right under brave counter delay.
Thank you.
You just put that to throw input.
Yeah, thankfully in this case, but yeah, it's specifically in the corner like this. Yeah, you would get counter hit by this. You can't walk out at, so in Elsa's case, you can actually whip punish. Okay.
Yeah,
Granted,
you have to walk back and then far heavy.
Granted, in this situation, typically they would be doing the grab like that. Interesting. Ilsa's 2M might not actually be that great for the grab tech situation then.
Well,
yeah,
check her far
close.
medium. If her far medium triggers proximity guard, then you have like actual RPS.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the far medium real quick. Oh, no, because remember, her far medium is 9 frames.
Yeah, but if it reaches your guard before,
Oh, no.
before you can walk back, it prevents you from like having that walk back far heavy as a
yeah, that is
layer
true.
1 option.
But at that point, you just counter hit with this.
Yeah. But that loses to 2M.
So there's
That's the
little bit
kind of like
RPS.
RPS stuff. Yeah. It's a good option that she has, and Galleon has the same thing in her far medium, but Galleon doesn't have the 7 frame. To
Yeah. The thing is, though, compared to other characters that have 7 framers, at least this one, Galleon actually has some responses to fight back with. Where other characters, generally with other characters with their 7 frames, they can typically, Galleon almost always has to just be passive. So that's actually kind of, I would kind of give that as a knock against her compared to other characters with a 7 frame medium.
I don't think there is
No, you have
7 frame medium
You have Katalina.
that you can't walk back. Katalina? Does Catalina's reach though?
That's actually a good point because I'm used to because this is 7 frames that are on the lows. There are some. I don't know if there's any standing 7 frames that are standing because I know that Versusia sometimes catches you because
Grand is
Versusia
a 7
to
frame
you.
standing.
Yeah, Gran is specifically a particular one to watch out for.
Yeah, the throw breaks against Gran are just kind of like, good luck, bro. Do
kind
far
of
light
have to
or do
wait.
nothing.
There's also another reason why it's very important to know about this range because of this specific setup right here. Because off 6-2-3M, you basically are put at the max range of your trap, of your command grab, and you're basically get to put down a trap while being even, like basically +0 to both sides. So you're also in medium range. So sometimes if I've noticed if you have if they have a 7 framer, they're more confident to mash on you. Or if they have an 8 framer, they tend to be a bit more passive because you can also just hold it down with an 8 frame medium. So that's also another importance of why I have a very clear eye on the 7 frames. But yeah.
I think the 6-2-3 distance in the corner is like, if it's not the exact same, it's like a little bit closer than throw break distance.
Yeah, it's basically either the same range as throw break distance or a little bit closer. But basically the idea is basically those are the 2 types of situations that I am always looking for as a Galleon, where because those are, first off, throw tech is very important because that's like basically when you're defending against a throw, and then this is one of your main like OP stuff in the corner. So it's very important to know on which characters can basically kind of ignore it.
There is a piece of tech that I don't know if I found it or if I just like I came across it on my own. If you have her tech with the button inputs, where she falls on her ass and you're +6, the grab will always reach that even mid-screen, and it's a 50-50 between that.
Wait, oh.
Like Galleon gets a true 50-50 off of the grab when they bad tech anywhere on the screen.
Wow, I did not know that actually. And as you can see, they can't get a medium out in time.
They can't get a medium. And if you want to know the like craziest thing, if you put them back in the corner, and you have Ilsa do her 7 frame medium, it loses. The only thing that beats the grab is a light
framer?
that is 6 frames. Yeah, a 6 framer that reaches. And there's only 2 in the entire game.
Ladiva's, I think.
No, Ladiva's can't.
Ladiva's doesn't reach?
Nope, it's Katalina's Far Light and Yool's 2M.
Wow.
Those are the only 2 buttons in the game that can interrupt that setup. But I will say in the mid-screen off of the bad tech, if they just hold backwards,
they walk
out. They walk out. But they can't backdash and they can't jump because far medium catches them in the startup of both of them. And if they walk backwards, you just 5U. And 5U's, I don't think 5U's reactable all the time.
Yeah.
So they get caught by that, and ideally you have a meteor hammer. And that's the 50-50.
I see. Very interesting information. Alright, so let's see where we're putting Ilsa, because I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this is kind of, because the thing is Laser is really hard to deal with, and Laser forces Galleon to play patiently, and I know a lot of people don't have that mindset.
Yeah, I would say like the baseline, Ilsa is at an advantage against Galleon, so Galleon's at disadvantage. And then depending on
player preference.
On player, it either goes down or it stays there.
Yeah, it will basically it's either gonna be a Galleon disadvantage or it'll start becoming even if you're willing to play patient.
Or I don't even think it becomes even if you're willing to play patient. I think it's like the matchup when played optimally by both players, Ilsa has an inherent advantage because she is the one that is driving the matchup. If Galleon gets her to the corner, if Galleon plays in her range, Ilsa has made a mistake that the Ilsa is then paying for. And I don't think that a matchup should be considered even if the only, or not the only way, or when your character wins is off of their mistake. So I would say like Ilsa is a disadvantage at best, and then you really need to work for it at worst. Like if it's not something you're good at, not something you're used to, then you really gotta start locking in. You really gotta get lucky a lot of the times to get in.
All right, so let's look at another character now. Which one are you thinking of to want to look at next? Oh wait, let me just put this real quick right here.
Yeah, dude, I think the fucking Galleon mirror is like an unironic 3-3 matchup. Like nobody wins in that situation.
So there is no winner in the Galleon mirror match. There is just whoever lost less.
Whoever backdashed more.
Whoever backdashed more, whoever 2v6H correctly is better.
Yep.
God, it's
so bad.
I am someone who loves mirror matches, fun fact. I loved playing Nier. I played Nier mirror matches and had fun with it. I can't have fun with Galleon mirror matches. That's how bad it is.
Dude, I always see it, like, when I was playing ranked, I always see it like, oh man, I don't want to be team killing, man. Because, like, they're all on the rank ladder next to me, like, it's Progenitor, it's you,
I've been running into Tatsu so often, man.
Yeah, it's Tatsu. Oh, speaking of Tatsu, I really liked his tier list. There's like some difference that I would put, but his was a pretty good one, I think. But you also said Nier. You're talking about Nier.
Yeah.
And I would say
Nier
is probably. I don't know if Galleon has a clear advantage. I think
the big problem that Nier has is that they both want to play the same range, but Nier has way less options to win it, and Nier also has far less HP, and Nier's is also just a limited time thing. Granted, I could be pushed down to here as well, but I think it's really bad for Nier.
I think it is too, but I think that's just like Nier in general. I think if the Nier plays like the absolute best she can, then it's still just slightly Galleon favored. Because in my head, Nier gets Death deployed and has you like just outside of 5U range and like kind of pressuring you with that, and then she kind of closes the distance while you're forced to hold a death like 2-3-6. That's like in my head, that's like nightmare scenario. Galleon has just lost everything that she can do. But for Nier to do that, that's like half of her stocks, isn't it? To like deploy death and then have you hold that?
That's the big problem, is basically Nier just doesn't have the resources to keep doing that. Like, she basically just runs out. That's the big problem. Nier, with how she's built at the moment, is going to run out of gas and is going to have to completely give up the entire space that she won to Galleon's inevitability. The fact of the matter is, eventually, because of how Nier's kit works, she's going to end up in this situation right here. And this situation is going to be next to impossible for her to get out. And then there's also the fact of the matter is, she doesn't win mid-range as convincingly as you thought because of the nerfs to her 214H. Like, round start, Galleon has control almost the entire time. Nier has...
what is Galleon's round start against 214H?
It loses to far heavy.
It loses to far heavy.
Like, Nier doesn't get hit, but Def dies. It kills Def on startup.
Then it probably loses the far medium, which is a little bit safer too.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
No, like, Nier is on the back foot from turn 1.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's why and the fact of the matter is, yeah, you talk about the pressure being scary, but the fact of the matter is, at the moment, Nier's Def just dies to BC.
Yeah.
Like,
but I think even if you're Nier and your opponent is Brave countering Death, and as long as you're not getting knocked down from Brave counter, like if they're doing like something where it's a spaced Brave counter and they're literally just doing it to kill Death, I think that's a win for Nier. Because that's a point that they need to spend their meter to get out with.
It depends on how many stocks Death is at. Because there are times where you can time it. You can time it where Nier is at 5 stocks, and you basically have said, "All right, I am winning neutral for the next 10 seconds." And Galleon having a guaranteed. Is this? Hold up. Is this like a copy pasta? This is the second person that typed that in a row now.
I know. I think it's funny.
But yeah,
I know Youtube not a bot.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. Anyways, Yool.
That's a W.
Yeah, but the problem is Nier is also a squishy character. She's 15k HP.
Yeah. You know, I think you've convinced me. I think, yeah, Galleon does have a pretty clear advantage.
Because the problem is that both of these characters have very high damage as well. Like, basically, they both want to control the mid-screen. They both want to get a mid-screen hit to come loop and do pressure. And then they both have high damage. But the thing is, Galleons is on a much easier to manage cooldown, a much easier to manage a resource, and a resource that's much more prevalent than Def, which is far more limited. And Galleon also has way more HP than Nier, and Galleon is also doing as much damage as Nier from those ranges. Like, Nier has to spend a lot for her high damage stuff. But yeah, it's kind of... At the moment, this is just really a poor Nier, because Nier has never been buffed in this game.
Yeah,
She's received only
that's
nerfs.
true.
Oh, Lizzie, what about that time where they let Def remain after Grab Tech? They also got rid of her best neutral tool in the same patch. Because fun fact, here's the 214H range. You saw that, right? I'm gonna show you really quick again. Okay, so, see? Alright, we're in this range, right? Def whiffs. At this range, Def is you can't use 214H anymore.
Why can't you use that again?
Because basically how they made it is that they massively cut down her distance space so basically beforehand 214H could actually hit there. Now it doesn't even hit there anymore, and it's just a guaranteed the opponent can just kill Def there.
Well, why don't you just do it again and then you sandwich them?
You have to wait. You can't like instantly spam 214H again.
Oh.
Yeah, Def. You have to if you want to cancel to another animation, it has to be a different animation.
Wait, you can whiff punish Death?
They made it so much easier to whiff punish Def. Yeah. The big thing is like I can cancel to other specials, but I can't cancel it to a 214H again. So it's just whiffing. So unless Nier specifically does this, Def is going to die there.
Wait, that's awesome. I hate Nier.
But yeah, basically Nier has never been patched, has never been buffed. Here's the current chart, Kirigaki. But yeah, you understand why I have clear advantage now, right?
Yeah. You've convinced me.
I'm trying to see where else should I go?
I'm like a go down the line type of fella, where we just go to EX Narmaya and say like, here's 3 people that play that character.
Yeah,
and
that's
put
funny.
her...
Like EX Narmaya is like such a nothing burger to me.
Yeah, I think like regular Narmaya is so much more difficult that EX Narmaya is kind of an even close, because she's playing the same range. She doesn't really like Setsuna. She doesn't have EX Setsuna, so she's not.
Yeah, I think the big thing is her Setsuna doesn't
off
actually
of it.
wall bounce anymore, so this actually makes it better because her Setsuna's reward is so much more limited. Yeah, she spams Setsuna more, but those Setsunas do so much less now.
And if she's doing the thing where she's like EX Narmayaing it, and she's like doing those crazy mid-range or mid-screen combos, Galleon is still really strong in the mid-screen too. Like if you're not cornering Galleon, then you're kind of
her
setting
offense.
yourself up
Her
for
offense is also just a lot less scary because it's just like the slow.
I will say that
stuff.
Because she has the Kagura 5L, some of Galleon's pressure just becomes like unusable. Like after a 6XL, you have to Farlight or you will get counter hit by her 5L. Well, and that's a little annoying.
I was on normal Narm.
I mean, normal Narm is probably more of the like more of a topic to speak about. Yeah.
So let's also talk about normal Narm real quick. So normal Narm. So first off, round start is actually quite interesting. Round start, Narm has to respect the hell out of 5U. Because because 5U will actually beat out Setsuna. It will counter hit. So Narm has to kind of, as someone who has played so many Narms, Dragalia is basically the closest thing I have to a training partner. So this is like a matchup I know really well. So round start is quite interesting, where basically Narm has to either do like a jump or do like a backdash with Setsuna stuff like this.
Yep.
And even then, Galleon still has options there, because that option that I showed right there loses to Galleon 236M and gives you a counter hit there. So like, it's already a very interesting thing there. Granted, Setsuna beats out almost every other option of the Galleon, so it's an interesting round start situation.
Yeah, I think another kind of underrated round start that Galleon has is a empty forward jump.
Yes.
Because in the situation where Narmaya is going to do the Setsuna round start, even though 5U beats it, jumping also beats it. And that's like the universal, like,
jumping's also
Narmaya tries to Setsuna and everyone jumps over it.
Yeah, but that also then prepares
Narmaya
for like the anti-air stuff. Yeah. So there's already quite an interesting amount of variance in the round start.
Yeah.
another thing about Narm is that Narm Setsuna is really problematic for Galleon to deal with. Like, a lot of your game plan with far heavy traps and like 5U traps kind of can get beaten out by Setsuna spam over here, so you have to be quite a bit careful. Yeah, if you get into the far heavy range, you start having a lot more effect on Narm's pressure. So it's kind of a thing where, like, in the mid-range, farther out, Narm will have a better time, but as you get a bit closer, Galleon will start having the better time, but then if you get too close, Narm starts winning again. So it's kind of like, Galleon has to find that sweet spot of the mid-range, which is, like, basically, like, your max far, around your far heavy range.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I've kind of put on paper is like the sweet spot where Galleon wants to keep people is that tip of far heavy into the range of the end of 5U. Like there's a super sweet spot because in that range, not only are Galleon's options the strongest, but that's outside of instant 6XL range for most characters. So you can react to a dash at that range and stuff the 6XL, and you have all of your tools available that are at their strongest ranges and have the most reward. Now, and the Narm matchup is like, it messes with that a little bit because of Setsuna. Like, Setsuna kind of shrinks that range. Like, you really have to be at the max far heavy range. And then, like you're kind of doing now, once she gets you in the corner, Narmaya's pressure is like one of the scariest strike throw pressure in the entire game.
Because the thing is, normally, because here's a full disclosure. If you're running spaced offense against Galleon, Galleon's defense is actually pretty good at spaced offense. The main reason behind why it's pretty significant is because basically at spaced offense, you give Galleon the opportunity to get trapped. And basically in this situation, whoever gets the poke is going to convert into a lot of damage. Basically, the reward becomes kind of nearly even on both sides. You get a you get a hit on Galleon, you get a corner combo. Galleon gets a hit on you or a poke on this, you basically get this, you're now in the Galleon loop pressure situation.
Yep.
However, once you start getting up to close range like this, Galleon only has a 6-frame light or a DP or BC to interact with. And Narm's up-close offense is really good. Because, as you can see, we have this thing called Flip. Flip is a nightmare to deal with. It's
but
why
I also
her
feel like
strike
Flip
throw is
is
so scary.
universally hard to deal with.
It's universally hard to deal with, especially when you don't have a meterless DP, and the reward's so high off it, and she can almost always go for grabs and such, which can also beat out BC. So like basically, Narm has very scary up-close pressure, which is where Galleons that are weakest, defensive-wise.
Yep.
So basically, Galleon has to play this really weird mid-range sweet zone to get her rewards, where it's not easy for her to do, and Narm's rewards, once she gets you into a corner like this, are really high.
Yep.
So it's why I put this as a Galleon disadvantage.
I don't know if I put it as disadvantage because of the fact that half of Narmaya is competing with Galleon's range. And she's not like competing in a way that's super like scary almost.
Yeah.
Like
but
in
that's
my
why
head,
I put slight disadvantage. I put the disadvantage and not the need to work for it tier. Because basically Narm, because at the end of the day, Narm does have an advantage. Galleon has to thread the needle a little bit, and Narm also pressures some of her weak points.
In my head, it's like the 0.5. This is like one of the 0.5 matchups that I would say.
Yeah,
like
but that's kind of why I have it as like
slightly Narmaya. Yeah. I agree.
As you can see, it's why I have it as disadvantage. Basically, disadvantage is going to work from like a general umbrella term from like the 5.5 to like... Basically, the need for it to work for it is going to be the matchups that are, in your eyes, are probably the 6-4s.
Yeah.
Because 5.5, 4.5 is still technically a disadvantage. Alright, where's Narm? There you are.
Regular Narm.
Okay, so we're just going to be going down the list, right?
Yeah.
As Vira said, this is a Galleon advantage in my eyes.
Yeah, I think so. I think the only other place I would put it is like close advantage or like even close, but I think
would either put it here or even at clear advantage a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know about clear advantage just because I think Vira's install is a little scary.
Yeah.
But if you're playing it correctly as Galleon, then she's not getting it.
Yeah, if you're playing it correctly, Vira has the raw super to get install.
And then if she does, you just 5U her after the super
Yeah.
flash, and she dies.
The main reason why is because basically, so first off, Vira is a rushdown character. Vira needs to get in on you in order to do stuff, and that's already playing into Galleon's game plan. However, Vira also has very little options to deal with rock. Like her one approach option is do this, like the Lumi stuff. Like do Lumi, run in. Galleon can almost always 2-2U any of Vira's Lumi calls on reaction, or if she's already preemptively doing like a 5U rock stuff. So like, I'm gonna do a quick recording. I messed up there.
It's okay, we can't see.
Oh fuck! So, alright, we get a trap right there. So let's say I have a trap right now. We're gonna play it. As you can see, at certain ranges, you can kind of just counter hit 5U it if you try to do a run there. You can also just call a 2-2U on the rock if you're faster with it. And if you're already doing 5U. And then there's also the fact of the matter is, you can just also... You can also just do a 2-2M. And then she's basically running into your trap stuff. Or...
Yep, that's the thing that I think about the most is, like, how does she get in? And how can I make her not want to get in? Because she can't zone you. Like, she has to be on top of you. And if you put the meteor right in front of you, then it's like, alright, come here then, come here. Like,
yeah,
in my meteorite zone.
This was
I'll
a matchup
Lumineera.
This was a matchup that originally she had like a Lumi RPS to try something, but now the Lumi RPS is so against her because of the 2-2M chain.
It's like, alright, sure. Send Lumineera
like,
out.
What does a like
circle.
legitimately? What does Vira do in this situation?
What does she even do? I think the other thing that kind of turns me off on the Vira matchup is that her gap closers
are not
like,
good.
They're not good. Yeah.
Her
The
gap
-1 is a little scary because Galleon has 6-frame Abare, but once you start representing throw, then they can't really.
I almost go throw. I don't trust my Abare, so I just go for throw there, and then it's a guarantee. I think that Galleon gets reward off throw as well, because I think you're not gonna kill with the punish. You're gonna kill by getting the setup.
Yep.
Because yeah, Vira has a DP, but then she also kind of has she has not the greatest buttons in certain situations to fight against Galleon. Like this 2M is pretty nice, and like the 2U can be annoying because it's a 7-framer. But as we talked about before, like with 7-frame lows, you can kind of just walk out of it to punish it. And Vira
that's something I need to check is if you can walk out of the third tech.
There's also the fact of the matter is like Vira's only way to get plus frames without install is a frame stuff you can always mash on. Like this right here.
Yeah, the 2 and 4M.
Oh. Like this is always just a guaranteed punish. And now look, we're in this situation again. We're in the bad Vira situation. Yes.
What does she even do here?
And even then, install is not an instant win for her either.
Because you just snipe her out of the sky. Like she takes one step forward in the like the air dash thing that she does. You do 63L. If she backflips, you're even. And if she goes forward, you grab her.
So as you can see, we have this now. We're like, oh yeah, she's super airborne and all that. Why can I not? Why is she not doing the jump thing? Okay, there. Oh, she has to.
Yeah, she has to activate it with 5U.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah.
And then in the air, I think she just does air and then dash. Like you can jump and then get like an air dash.
Yeah, there it is.
But it's the same thing as 2Bs, where like if she does it, she's committed to it. So you get to kill her for it.
You basically get the sniper out of the sky with rock, or just actually just straight up just grab her. So, like her air mobility is scary, so she once again is stuck on the ground. Where she has new plus frames now with the EX cooldown stuff. But that's still, I still think that's not as scary because those are still BC counterable. Because she has to be in BC range for those plus on block special stuff. So basically,
Yeah,
like, she kind of is basically has no. She's completely lost in the beginning when she's in normal state, and then her install state is not scary enough to like. I've had games where like I'll get Vira to like 20%, they'll finally get install, and then it's not enough for them to pull something out. It's like they'll try, but then I just hold out, block, BC, put them under trap, and then chip them out. Like, there's not many options that a Vira can do. Like, this is why I think... Remember when I was talking about clear advantage? This was one of the characters I thought of. Like, this might be one of Galleon's best matchups.
I don't know about best matchups, but I think it's definitely good. I think the thing that holds me back from saying, like, it's super, super clear advantage is that Vira can kind of scrap with her in that mid-range with her far medium. And her, like, her cancel options from it, if she can hit confirm it, are decent. They're not, like, bad. So if she has that, like, mid-range spacing and she's kind of, like, out footsying you, that it's a little difficult to deal with because of her really good far medium.
Yeah, but I
the
feel
other
like
thing
on
is
that
the
case, that's a requirement of if the that's basically trying to say like, oh, if Vira can somehow do better neutral than Galleon in the range that Galleon's better at.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of like if you play the matchup correctly as Vira, you kind of have to say I need to play in this range because if I play like we're at like round start distance or beyond, I need to rely on Luminaria. And if I rely on Luminaria, Galleon's just going to place the meteor right in front of me, and I'm going to complete her game plan for her by following my Lumi summon. So she has to kind of keep the range, whereas Galleon, this is one of the matchups that Galleon actually can walk backwards in, because she wants to keep the range further than what Vira wants to keep the range.
I feel like
and I think a lot of Vira players don't like keep that range. They kind of want to like either sprint in 6XL, or stay beyond round start and cover Luminaria, because that just works in most matchups.
I feel like if you have to completely remove an option from your game plan, then there's something inherently bad with the matchup.
Yeah. That's true.
Because at the end of the day, you're basically saying Vira has to completely just forget about Luminaria, which is her like one of her main like game plans in this matchup.
I don't think she has to forget about it because it's also her best Oki tool. It's just no longer a good neutral tool. Like she can't just summon it and then say like, I'm about to claim this space of neutral. Good luck dealing with this because I'm gonna like do a DP afterwards, or I'm gonna like do some crazy move afterwards that you're not gonna expect. And Galleon is like, okay, well do whatever you want, bro. Here's my meteorite.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very easy advantage. And I think like if this tier like gets populated and it's like Vira is probably a lot easier than this, then I would be like, yeah, Galleon clear advantage.
Because there's still gonna be a few more in the advantage tier. But basically she's at the highest one here, and then she probably will move on to clear advantage once we put down a few more characters.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay. Alright, Djeeta. I'm gonna be honest with you, as I keep fighting more and more Djeetas, I'm starting to come to the realization that this is a bit closer because of how annoying Farlight is.
Yeah, I think this is like a slight disadvantage.
I would still
But this is where the opinion of the Shoto Destroyer kind of comes into play. Is I think that Shotos have the most flexibility in the ranges that they can play the game. And if a Shoto is playing the Galleon matchup correctly, they're staying far out of 5U range, or they're skipping neutral and getting into like close normal range.
Yeah. The thing is, though, in my opinion, with those is that because of Shotos, their whole balance around is being basically good at everything but masters at none. And generally, in my opinion, most Shotos, as you said, they have to either play the super long range game or play the super close game. And typically, in my opinion, most Shotos don't have good enough in those areas to justify Galleon just completely walking them in the other aspects. Like,
yeah, that's like where I was able to see like what you were talking about is like, especially for characters like Djeeta and Gran. I value their like fireball game, like them being able to stay full screen and force Galleon to walk towards them.
With fireball is actually pretty
fireball
problematic.
But in Rising, fireballs are ass. Like, they are really not good because you have rolls to get past them. You have spot dodges to get past them. You jump them like a Street Fighter. And if you can jump, you can block them in the air. Like, they're really not that threatening.
Yeah, no, ironically, the reason why I think Djeeta is actually, I would put Djeeta at even or in a better position than most Shotos is because Djeeta's actually kind of a bit scary up close. Because specifically, Djeeta has a really good far light. And Djeeta players have trained themselves to hit confirm off far light really well.
Okay, Djeeta players or salts?
Djeeta players.
Djeeta players, okay. Maybe you've been fighting some demons.
I have not fought those in a while. But basically, Djeeta's whole like up close pressure with this type of stuff right here can actually be kind of difficult for Galleon to deal with, especially this far light. Like this is actually a really problematic button for Galleon to deal with, and her fireball's on the okay side.
Yeah, I think the reason why I like put Djeeta as a slightly more disadvantaged Soto, at least in my mind, is that she has that variation in the fireballs that makes it so you actually have to pay attention to what she's doing.
Exactly.
And she has the charged heavy fireball that she can then follow behind.
Yeah, no, this is really hard for Galleon to challenge.
Yeah.
Because the charge up clashes with 2-2 rock as well.
Yeah. Well, I think now it doesn't. I think they changed that, didn't they?
I'm gonna check real quick.
Because they changed the old rocks.
Right, old rock challenge is now. Yeah, old rock now, which makes it better, but now you can't. Regular rock still kind of loses.
Yeah.
If you can get the crumple in time, though.
And that's the other thing is, if you don't get it out in time, or if you don't punish the charge in time, the fireball doesn't go away, and then you get hit.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of other Shotos, their fireball will just disappear.
Disappear
if you
when
get
it
them out of it.
There's also
but
a fact
a lot
that,
of other Shotos don't get the variation in fireball.
There's also old fireball, and old fireball is also really scary up close like this, which makes Djeeta's like pressure up close really scary. Like basically, Djeeta's a character that her close range is good enough to actually threaten Galleon, and then while her long range isn't that great, her fireball has enough variety to actually make the mid range a bit guessy. Like basically, Djeeta's a kind of interesting Shoto because her mid range is kind of like her worst of her ranges.
Yeah.
And then in return, she has a much better up close and better far range, which are specifically like, which is kind of works out for her in this matchup because she was never gonna win mid range anyway. So if she's much scarier in the close range than the far range, that actually makes things a bit tricky for Galleon.
That's kind of my opinion on the Shoto like genre as a whole. Is that like no character is realistically outside of Ferry is going to compete with Galleon in her range. Yeah. But Shotos can exist in the long range and in the close range much better than Galleon can, just off of the fault of Galleon's kit. Like, if they have something that helps them stay far away or get in close, that's what I really value in the Shoto matchup, and that's what I think actually brings them to, like, they have an advantage over Galleon, even though like they want to sit in that mid range.
I will talk about that because there are certain characters that I think don't have enough in order to justify where I think they die because of that. Djeeta is not one of those cases, however. Djeeta is a case where she has enough close range and enough far range. She basically is like the perfect one because she already gave up the ability to win mid range against Galleon, and basically just in return got better close and far range stuff for it.
Yeah. I would be like Djeeta in my mind is on the cusp between being disadvantaged or even. Like I wouldn't even say that she's a 0.5 disadvantage. I would say she's like we pull out the decimals, put like a 0.3.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna put it at close.
Yeah, like I would say bottom even or like.
Because at the end of the day, Djeeta's also not that great of a character, so there's also just character strength holding her back.
Yeah, character flaws. Gran is much the same.
Fun fact, I love how you don't see EX Djeeta here.
I mean, like I don't
care for EX Djeeta, so don't worry about it.
EX Djeeta, and let me pull up what I wrote. I said, who the fuck even plays this character? I don't fucking know, dog.
The only time I played EX Djeeta was for a video where I got a rage quit, and that's it.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure EX Djeeta has something. That's
I might be blind.
there.
Oh shit, I am blind. There is EX Djeeta. My
Yeah,
mind
he's
just
not next to Djeeta.
I just don't care. I just gonna ignore this character.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, the variations with her fireballs are alright. Like,
The
'cause of her
character
stock.
the character just isn't a character.
Yeah, but she just, like, what does she even do?
Hold on, I'm just gonna add a new tier really quick.
EX
Add a row
Djeeta.
below. EX Djeeta. I don't care. There we go. Alright, Mr. Grand Blue Rising himself.
I think this is the same as
It's
Djeeta.
it's basically kind of the same argument as Djeeta.
Yeah.
Like, he has a better neutral skip than Djeeta, and his 2M is a lot more scary to deal with, but his fireball in return is much easier to deal with.
Yep.
So basically,
And
he's
like the grand round start of 236M, like that just blows up to Galleon
Yeah.
5U. He just dies to that. I would put her right next to Djeeta.
EX Gran, I would
EX
actually
Gran.
put a bit of Galleon disadvantage, however, because EX Gran has
Really?
been a Shoto that's been retooled into a rushdown.
I think the opposite. I think he's closer to Vira. I think he has the exact same game plan as Vira, except none of the like neutral tools.
I think that
'Cause,
might
like-
be a case of me just not having a bit of problems with some of his specials, because like his specials are very weird at first glance to deal with.
Yeah.
I honestly I don't have much of an opinion. It's either this or this, and
I would say Galley advantage because like there's like one EX Gran player. Like Temp is
Yeah.
the only EX Gran player. Like at least that's not doing it performatively. Like, he's
I
actually
also
genuine in the
haven't fought
grind.
I also haven't fought EX Gran yet with the 2-2M change. So that's also another thing to take in mind.
Yeah, that's another reason why I think advantage, because like if you think about it, what does EX Gran want to do? He loses his fireball because he's more of a rushdown character, but all of his like neutral skips either are minus or you can react to them with a punish. Like if he does 214M, like where he flies across the screen and does the blade flurry, if you spot dodge that, like you have to spot dodge it extremely late to not be able to throw punish him. If he ever does the the sword stab decimate or armor break, if he does anything that isn't a true block string out of that, you can throw him out of it. Like he doesn't get anything particularly strong off of his rushdown outside of the fact that he can use his 214M as a throw bait. That's plus on block if you block it, and I think it starts a combo if he hits it. Like his whole like shtick is I'm just gonna rush you down, but I'm not gonna have the good tools to get past something like Galleon. Like you stick out a button as Galleon, Gran's gonna fall right in it.
Yeah, fair enough. Alright. I will say we kind of did just blitz past Gran, but there's not really much to say that I already said with Djeeta as the Fang.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, he has a worse fireball. He has an okayer, like M boot is okayer than Djeeta Rekka.
The big
And
thing is the
ult
2M.
Boots is worse.
The big
and
thing
then
is the 2M.
2M is better. Yeah.
There's also I will specify another thing is like Granims like to do space offense with their far heavy charge stuff, but that kind of does not work against Galleon.
Yeah.
Gal-
Because it like.
That's like a free 5U punish for Galleon.
But if they let it ride, you're
Yeah.
gonna die.
So that's why I put it kind of like even. Like basically, I would say Djeeta has a better chance, and Gran is closer to even. Like if you said like Djeeta was like the 5.2 or something like that, Gran is actually the 5.5.
Yeah, Gran's probably a little evener than Djeeta.
All right, Mr. Top 5 always. Granted, he's no longer top 5 now. He's just Mr. Top 10, and then the world cried. But what do you think of Belial?
Honestly,
I'm very curious of what you think of Belial, because I think my opinion of Belial is going to be different from almost everyone else.
So, Belial is like the best Shoto, or one of the best Shotos in the game. But I don't think Galleon does that bad into him. I think like it would be similar to Djeeta, where like I would put a not 0.5, like a 0.4 disadvantage. Like the disadvantage is there, because Belial's toolkit is so consistent and so strong, but it's not like bad. I don't think it's that bad. I think a lot of the things that he wants to do, or at least he wants to try to do, Galleon kind of stuffs with her offense, and the things that he can do, like once he's in the mid-range, like it requires a lot out of a Belial player to get around Galleon's mid-range. And then once he's in the close range, I mean, that's like just the story about Galleon is like, once you breach the wall, it's over. Like, Galleon kind of falls apart. So I don't think that's like anything new. So I don't think it's that bad. I think it's slightly disadvantaged, but I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah. So in my eyes, this is probably close to an either even or, as you said, like a slight disadvantage for Galleon.
Yeah. I think we're in agreement.
Because the thing is with Belial is like, because the first thing that people think is like, oh, just do Fireball forehead with Belial. Except that like almost every single Fireball call out will lose to 2-2-U. And the trades, because also here's another thing, Galleon has gotten her 5U now crumpled, which makes these trades even worse for Belial now. Like,
and the round start, H Fireball, Galleon can trade with 5U and pick up the combo.
Yeah. And you also saw right there where like I got hit by this, but I have enough time.
Yeah, you still comboed him. Yep. It's just so good.
I will say there's also another thing. A lot of Belials like to try to parry stuff. If you try to parry Galleon far heavy, you actually get punished for it.
Yeah, you can't parry it.
So as you can see, this is a guaranteed punish.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I have a friend who plays Belial, and he's like one of the friends I got to play the game. And he parries the far heavy, or like I do it on purpose, where he like does the parry mid screen, and I trigger the parry with far heavy. He's like, "There's no way I parry the heavy, and you get to punish me."
Because you are correct, where basically Galleon is going to make mid range really difficult for Belial. But Belial also doesn't. Belial's projectile is a bit too slow to threaten long range as well. Is the thing. Because if he's just trying to do like the long range stuff, he'll just get domed in by a rock, and now we're in mid range.
Yep.
However, you are correct in that Belial's offense, once he finally gets in, is really hard for Galleon to get out of. I'm trying to switch. There you go. Like this the 2M stuff, and then specifically far heavy. Far heavy is really effective against Galleon's space stuff. Like, because most characters, like, you know how sometimes Galleon will try to do greedy stuff of like far medium stuff like this, or like this with trap. Belial far heavy will beat out all of that.
Yep.
Which is actually a really huge win for him there. He's one of the few characters that can kind of reliably punish that with far heavy, which is much easier than 6XL. Because 6XL is kind of a bit of a like skill check thing to do.
Yeah.
But Belial does not need to press the skill, he just needs to press far heavy.
Yep.
Which is really good for him.
And even for that, like that loses to like just doing far M into 5U or far M into 236L just keep yourself a little more safe.
Belial's Belial's buttons are also really hard for Galleon to deal with. Because the thing is, his 2M also lets him low profile.
Does it really?
I think so.
Yeah, he is kind of getting down there.
Yeah.
It doesn't low profile far medium. I know that.
Okay, it doesn't. Because I feel like there's been times where I probably have whiffed on 2M, but I don't know if that's because of far medium or just because he's just without a range, or like he's been trying to space trap me. Because Belial can actually space trap Galleon quite well. He's one of the few characters that can actually pressure Galleon on the space offense stuff.
Yeah, I don't think he's that bad. I think another thing that is
really I'm just getting whiff punished
good
there because of walking distance. But yeah, Belial is a character that can actually space trap Galleon. I will say though, if with Galleon, if you just start being patient on your defense, Belial can kind of be dealt with.
Yeah.
Because his offense is. So here's the thing as I've learned as you play against Belial more and more often, Belial has a very structured offense to his game plan. Like, basically, it's either do the 2M and try to ban out a far heavy, or like wait out, Because at the end of the day, Belial wants to do space offense. Like, he does not want to do the close range offense like this.
Yeah.
He wants to do space offense, which gives Galleon the chance to actually fight back. Yes, Belial still is very scary with space offense, but if your offense is in Galleon's best way to make the counteract kind of a bit even, Galleon has chances, basically. It's why I kind of put this at even. Like, basically, both characters have a really clear zone that they win, but then both characters have chances in that zone to win. So, like, because even at mid-range, Belial still has options. Belial can still basically parry any of your 5U callouts. He can still jump far heavy stuff. He can still do a ult fireball in time. And then in close range, Galleon can still counter hit Belial with during his 2Ms or like stick out a far medium in the middle of the pressure and then just completely kill him with trap and such. It's quite an even. It's kind of why I put it as an even matchup, because basically both characters can kill each other in their best ranges, and both characters have a clear advantage in their best ranges, but both characters have options to deal with it. Which is why I put it as even.
I would say the only thing I would change is I would put it at disadvantage because Belial is just a much more consistent character than Galleon.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I think it's also like I've talked with other Belials on this, and they also, from how they feel lost sometimes.
Well, Galleon's a very easy character to like get lost on defense on, because like you have to be proactive when she's trying to get you to be passive.
Reactive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
The
just
thing is,
not
I already
something
have
that a lot
quite
of
a
people
few
can
that
do.
I'll put in disadvantage, but I'll put them here for now because I see Ilsa here. Okay. All right. Sheep Girl.
Anila, I think is
Anila is weird because when I first was fighting this character, I felt like Galleon. This was like a clear disadvantage for Galleon, but as time has progressed, I feel like it kind of has flipped. What do you feel of Anila?
when I think of the Anila matchup, I think of like playing against Greg, and Greg just knows how to Shoto it out. Like Greg, he really just plays super solid and super slow in a way that Galleon, like walking forward against Anila feels bad. Like it just feels bad. The sheep, like I know you can 2-2U the sheep, but it just feels like such a different experience compared to the other Shotos.
The big thing about sheep is that the sheep trade actually kind of makes things a bit more even. Because
but
like
you have to do it you have to do it spaced, or you have to do it preemptively. Because if the sheep hits you before the rock comes out, you lose the rock and 50 meter.
Yeah.
And the fast sheep, that one's really hard.
There's also the whole air mobility that she also gets to have with this.
I actually talked to Lei and Lee about that because she plays both of them. She plays both Anila and Galleon. And she said that if the Anila ever does the M hop, 2-2M, if you do 6-2-3M, even if you whiff, you like reset the game to neutral.
Yeah.
So it's like a kind of like
I'm
nuclear option.
I'm talking about on some of the lower level stuff also.
Yeah.
Because I will say it is kind of a bit of an air grab bait.
Yeah. Well, even if you whiff that one, you fly across the screen, and Anila's now behind you. She can't chase you down to punish you.
I will say having an option to deal with her ult sheep is actually kind of huge though.
Yeah, that it does feel good. But if she does it too close to you, you can't jump in time, which kind of sucks.
Okay, hold on. There we go. Start. Did that a bit bad. But yeah, you can actually... It's one of the few times where dive grab actually becomes a usable option.
And that feels really good. Except for the times that the grab just decides to lock onto one of the sheep and puts you right in the middle of it. That does not feel good. That feels pretty bad. But other than that, it feels awesome.
I will say, once again, Galleon offense is really strong. And particularly because Anila's DP is kind of a bit stubby.
Yes.
So
it doesn't like, go a long distance, and I think that's one of the biggest kind of like comeback factors for the matchup, in my opinion, is that while she can DP you, she has to try to DP something. She can't just DP you. She has to like try and DP your far heavy. She has to try to DP the man grab. Like she has to try to DP something that she's looking for, outside of just, oh, they're on top of me, I got to DP.
Yeah. It becomes, I don't think this is actually one of the easiest DPs to kind of bait out. At least Space Trap. Because, for example, we can do stuff like this. And it's much easier to do against Anna than a lot of the other members of the cast. There's also the fact that, like, Anna's up close, like, Shoto pressure with her, like, sheep and such, it's kind of, like, predictable. Like, there's a clear pattern with it as well, like, this range up with sheep right here, and, like, this and all that. Like, if Anila has to make if Anila has to present DP on one of these just to put her offense continuing, it's kind of not a good offensive game plan.
Yeah. Like, the Anila is actually one of the matchups that I've done and thought about a good bit. My thinking about it is that she is a Shoto with a little bit more nuanced zoning, because not only can she send the sheep with her fireball, but she can also do the lariats, cancel the lariat, and then
this move right here can also be very problematic. Because if she's baiting you out, if she's making you jump with all the fireballs, because that does anti-air, fun fact.
Yeah, that anti-airs as well. Like, that's why I go back to the Greg matchup, is that he played that matchup extremely well. He said that he had a lot of Galleon experience. It was one of his like first training partners.
Yeah, that I'm sorry really about that.
Matchup. Oh, was that you?
I remember fighting Anila a lot in the early stages and fighting it with Greg and learning a lot about Anila as well. I will say though, the thing is like you are correct where Anila needs to play the game slow, but the fact of the matter is a slower game is going to benefit Galleon. Because the slower, it's just the problem is a lot of people aren't used to a slow play of game in this game. Because a lot of people are just instant gratification, basically. Yep. Oh, me 6XL, me, ah!
Yeah, and that's honestly why I think a lot of the Shotos, like, you can win against the Shotos, because it's like 6XL is so strong, 6XL is so like gratifying when you use it. So why wouldn't they be using it? Why wouldn't they just try to sprint across the screen and 6XL you? But once Anila can slow down the game, and I think Anila is like, the reason why I put it in disadvantage is like Anila is one of the characters that can slow it down, even at a pace that Galleon is like, damn bro, this like, let's get it on. Like, why are you, like, why is it taking so long to play this damn match?
I feel like just slowing it down is that Galleon can always play the slow game better. Yeah, there's an inevitability to Galleon in a slow game format.
Yep, but even in that slow game, Galleon is the one that has to initiate.
That is true, but remember we have 2-2M now. This is a slow inevitability right here.
Yeah, but even then, like, why would Anila walk forward? Why would she walk into the 2-2M?
You are correct, but the fact of the matter is this basically means that she has to keep focusing on the zoning and fireballs, and eventually you are going to get a correct read on it and trip her up with this eventually.
Yeah.
Because remember, at the end of the day, Anila's sheeps aren't fast enough to completely escape rock. So if you do get in a certain range where you can 5U a sheep call, Anila has lost massive space really quickly.
Although I'm pretty sure the sheep are tall enough that if you have a big enough rock and the rock falls on Anila while she's just summoned a sheep, the sheep will clash with the rock and Anila will not get hit.
Yeah, that is something you have to be a little bit careful of. I think that's really only a problem with level 4 rock, though.
Yeah. It's like not real enough to be like, oh, this is a terrible matchup. But as you say, is that you only have to play a very slow game, but only has to play a slow game where she doesn't mess up once. And in a very slow game like that, you're going to mess up eventually. Everyone messes up. Monarch messes up when he's playing that slow game forever as well. Monarch is possibly the best slow player that we have, and even then he will mess up. Yep.
And the problem is messing up against Galleon in a slow game format like that is so problematic. Like, it's really bad, especially because Anna's DP and such, and like her buttons aren't that great for fighting Galleon. Like her 2M.
Yeah, they're kind of
her
not.
2M kind of falls. Her 2M.
She has
particularly.
the same
This
RPS
2M.
with
This 2M is such a problem. The amount of times
Galleon or for Anila?
For Anila, the amount of times I counter hit her out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's 7 frames.
Well, yeah, it's the spacing thing.
Yeah. She has the same RPS as Ilsa, where she has that 7 frame normal that'll beat your 8 frames, but her 9 frame medium, like bar medium, hits your proximity, so you can't always walk backwards to whiff punish the 7 framer.
There's also the fact that
the only
Anilas want to jump out of the corner a lot as well.
Yeah, either with the command hop or the regular jump.
Which can both lose out to pretty hard things. Because the fact of the matter is, Galleon's offense is waiting for you to do something. Like, she wants you to break out and do a risky option, and jump is just such a risky option to do.
Thin Rising, oh my god.
Like, let's see an over defense real quick.
Over the fence, the only thing it has is that it's quick, and she can act out of it earlier than she can a jump.
Yeah, but it still loses to 2Hing. And now you get this whole super combo. Whoops. I was trying something different there, but yeah. Basically, the whole idea is you basically get all that. It's why I kind of put it closer to even, maybe, because Anila basically has to play an entire game of doing this the whole time and getting in with a few times of a correct call and play a very slow game, but if she messes up a single time, she's stuck in the blender.
That's true. I think the other thing that I consider is if she gets the first hit, it's kind of like a snowballing matchup. Like if she gets the first hit, then she's gonna loop into like the safe jump with the over the fence, and then she's gonna keep that really strong offense going. But her offense isn't limited, like, that good. Yeah. She only has the
like I'm showing
medium sheep and the
this
fireball. Yeah.
Like eventually you're gonna have a window here to do something to it. He's like, she can't really open you up like this, so she has to get up close to do stuff like this, which loses out the BC and DPs. Yep. So this is Anila kind of has some very like clear BC windows.
I mean, I think like where I put her is just slight disadvantage. Like I don't think it's the worst in the world, but I also think she's just a little bit better at staying out of Galleon's range.
I feel like there's just shadows that kind of do it a bit better than her. Like if remember we put Gran and Djeeta
reward than her.
Like for example, we put Gran and Djeeta and even like in my eyes, if we put Gran and Djeeta even, Anila also goes even.
Yeah,
like, she's kind of around the same tier.
The slight disadvantage for me would be like the same thing as Djeeta, where it's like a 0.3 disadvantage or a 0.4. It wouldn't be like that 0.5.
It's not enough to justify like that clear disadvantage.
And I think like the other thing is like she doesn't get a lot of reward off of guessing right.
So we shown Shotos that can kind of hang out with Galleon. Now we're going to Shotos that actually can't, in my opinion.
I don't know if I consider Beatrix a Shoto. I know she has a fireball, but like it's not.
She's a Shoto with a heavy rushdown bend, and that heavy rushdown bend is to her detriment in this matchup.
Yeah. I think I've seen some Beatrix players like, oh, 5U beats riding free. Like, that's
it can.
I don't know.
It can counter hit her, but it's not.
If you get hit by it, sure, but that's like a stars aligning type of thing. It's not like oh, I'm going to preemptively 5U to catch
that's just a spacing and stars aligning, and they're just being impatient, which is another thing. Beatrix players are just super impatient.
Yeah, I think this would be the needs to work for it. Not because it's like a super bad matchup, but because Beatrix just does things that are so strong, and you have to be ready for it. Like you have to like stay awake. You have to be ready to. All
right, I'm gonna go talk about some of the stuff about this matchup though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the big thing is Beatrix is also a rushdown character that really wants to do spaced offense with her far heavy and stuff. And once again, Galleon, as we keep mentioning before, is really good at dealing with spaced offense. And I will say old Fireball can be a bit scary to deal with, but it is something you can spot dodge on reaction. And medium Fireball is kind of just like 5U bait.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this puts it really bad for you. She's also Galleon also with how Galleon does her damage. She's a character that can kind of kill Beatrix without her ever getting Delta Clock. Which is very important to note because Galleon has very moments of high burst. Galleon's a character that can actually kind of control when she does her damage. Because her damage is based off like trap and such. Like she can end a combo early for Oki setup or like for stuff like that. So Galleon's a character that can actually specifically manipulate Beatrix HP to where she never gets Delta Clock from HPing and dies before she ever gets it.
Yep.
There's also the fact that like bar heavy is really strong and riding free doesn't always consistently go under it. It's kind of inconsistent at times. So
yeah, when she's going down and when she comes up, she gets blown up by far heavy.
And riding free is straight up is Beatrix's best approach option, and it doesn't work half the time. Which, if you're a rushdown character and your main approach option has a 50-50 of failing, that's not a good sign. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like the 22M I've been consistently able to react to on Beatrix, and I can stuff that out. So it really limits the range at which she can do that low.
There's also the fact that once you get better at this, you can actually almost always grab her out of every Thunderbird.
Yep, that's something that like that's what makes me think it's in need to work for a tier, because that's something that you need to be aware of. Like Beatrix isn't just gonna do that after an auto combo like that all the time. Like she's gonna do it
just to show an example.
And that's like, it's a pretty difficult reaction because M Thunderbird hits in 30 frames and your L Bedrock Blast is a 6 frame, so you need to react in 24 frames off of something that she's probably, if she's like not autopiloting, that she's not representing super often. And you also can't do that versus the heavy Thunderbird, which I think is like her offense cycling cooldowns is probably one of her greatest strengths on the rushdown. Yeah.
It's just, I feel like the problem is with the rushdown cycling like cooldown abilities is that it can be a guaranteed BC spot. So you have a guaranteed BC spot that reset back to mid-screen like neutral stuff with trap. And once again, this is where Galleon plays a really good role. And Beatrix also just has trouble approaching. Like Beatrix has a difficulty trying to get in. And Beatrix has to kind of rely on that cooldown cycling, as you say, because if she's trying to space offense, it's kind of still a near even state with space offense because of the reward Galleon gets.
I kind of disagree that Beatrix struggles in approaching, just because she has the additional tools of the mental stack, of the 22H, of the Thunderbird, of the jump-ins, of the 6XL. Like in this mid-screen right here, I'm a little scared of Beatrix. Like I have to be throwing something out that I think covers the most options that she's representing.
The thing is like, in this situation, just slowing down the game works in your favor because Beatrix is going to have to do something because Beatrix in this situation, as you said, can do 2-2, which you can block. If you're just waiting, you can block. He's gonna jump, which she has no way of air stalling, so it's a guaranteed 2H punish. If she tries to do a fireball, you just counter it with a 5U. Like, basically, the problem is that if you're scrambling, she's going to win. But slowing down the gameplay, you'll notice that Beatrix has to be doing something in order to be winning the screen, while you're winning the screen just by being here.
Yeah, but like this distance in particular with Beatrix's dash speed, like this is a difficult 6XL check right here. I think her instant 6XL, where you're standing right now, reaches. Like her 6XL is like the biggest factor for me of why it's like you really need to be on top of everything, because like you can stuff it. Like if you're far mediuming, like it'll stuff it, but that loses to 2-2 out.
Yeah.
That loses the 2-2-8.
The thing is, I feel like, okay, so the argument is she must be aware of these things, but then if she's aware of these things, Beatrix is just lost in the first place, which that kind of is like the same thing of like the zoner matchup where they have a really good matchup against a certain character, but they have to be aware of stuff. So like that's the thing. It's kind of like that argument. Like, yeah, Galleon needs to be aware of this, but if she is, what does Beatrix do?
Yeah, that's true. That's valid.
It's why I put her in like an advantage state for Galleon, because like if Galleon can keep track of this, Beatrix has to do something ballistic and hope that she gets it. Otherwise, she's at the back foot from almost the entire game.
That's an interesting way of thinking about it.
It's kind of the same thing of like why you talk about like zoners and matchups like against Ladiva. Like for example, zoners do really good against Ladiva, but they have to be aware of Ladiva's like windows where she can absolutely kill you. It's still a really bad matchup for Ladiva, but Ladiva can still just absolutely steal something with a kill, and the zoner has to still be aware of it. But just because the zoner is aware of it doesn't mean that like mechanically, because basically the idea is in a matchup both players are aware of everything and know all the things to do. So if Galleon knows everything she needs to do, and doing everything correctly means Beatrix doesn't get to play, is not a good matchup for Beatrix.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
It was like the same argument you were using for like Vira, where like Vira needs to play a specific way, or she's just lost.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think when I think about it like compared to Vira, the biggest difference between Vira and Beatrix is Beatrix's approaches are better.
Yeah, Beatrix can actually win a game with it, or like actually get in at times, where Vira feels like it's just a random act when she actually gets in.
Yeah.
Like I would give
yeah,
this advantage to
I
Galleon, but it's
that.
once again not like an extreme advantage situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there is quite a few difficulty checks.
Yeah,
I will say we are probably going through most of the characters that Galleon has an advantage through at the moment. Because next up is Sandalphon.
Okay, Sandalphon, I think saying Galleon has an advantage is like crazy. I think this is like the Shoto that Galleon is the worst into.
Really? I feel like this is the Shoto that Sandalphon struggles the most with, because his up close isn't good enough, and supposedly he's supposed to have better zoning tools, but then his zoning tools kind of lose out to a lot of Galleon's 5U stuff.
I disagree, because I feel like the argument is for Sandalphon's enhanced zoning, he puts himself in a vulnerable state where he just dies if you hit him.
Are we talking about Wind Sandalphon specifically?
Yeah, wind, fire, like the fireballs that'll knock you down and kind of keep him super far away.
I don't think fire zoning is good enough. Fire zoning is...
I don't think it's good enough on its own, but what I think like complements Sandalphon's zoning is the M stance little projectile.
Yeah,
I think if you have that that variation in zoning and positioning, makes the zoning a lot more difficult to deal with, because you can't spot dodge that move because it stays longer than spot dodge. If you roll it at certain distances, you roll into it, and it acts as a way to cover you while his fireball's on cooldown. Like if you spot dodge his fireball and then he does the medium stance, he's still able to keep you relatively far away while his fireball is coming back. And that's kind of my opinion on his zoning.
The problem is that stance is kind of a big fodder to 2-2U and 5U is the problem. Like, I understand the idea, but the problem is just stance is just too slow to deal with reliably.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if we try stuff like this, and I'm gonna try to do this like a very fast one real quick. Whoops. Okay, so that's like the fastest he can do. Okay. So he gets the 5U in time. Unfortunately, he just gets counter hit here.
Let's see.
Like the big problem
Yeah,
is,
if you just do it right after, yeah.
And yeah, he can potentially mix up, but in this stance he can't block.
Yeah, but I think like in that range, he's not going to do the stance. He's like, you've just blocked the fireball and you're plus, he's plus like 17.
Yeah, you are correct. In this situation, he would probably go for like the low stuff here, but
he would like take the space, I think.
Yeah.
And I also think with the element stocked, he has the best neutral skip in the game with either 214M or 214H into the element exchange. Like, yeah, it's Brave counter bait, but that's a unique mechanic for a a bravery point. And I think even if he gets hard knockdown brave countered, especially by Galleon who doesn't get that much off of a hard knockdown, that's a worth trade. Because like that's one hit, you restock, and then you get to do it again, and if they want to brave counter it again, now they're minus 2 points. They have to super to get their points back.
Yeah, I am trying to interrupt it right now to see.
You can interrupt it, but it's fast. Like, you have to be doing it preemptively. Like,
Yeah,
he has to
I'm noticing
bury
that.
it into your far heavy. It's not something that you can react to. And the other thing is that he can sit right at the outside of your 5U. Actually, I don't know if he can anymore. He used to be able to just sit outside of 5U range and then do that move, and he would just be plus on your face for free outside of your range. Well, I guess not for free to do Lariat cooldown, but all of his specials
Also,
lead into
what do you
a
mean
combo.
Galleon doesn't get much of a hard knockdown off brave counter, by the way? You get trapped in far heavy range. That is like...
Yeah,
that is...
but compared to every other character, or not every, most other characters that can just take the corner with a safe jump, I think that's...
Oh, Galleon can
lot
also
more
take a
valuable.
corner with a safe jump.
Off of a hard knockdown brave counter? No, she can't.
Yeah, that's your super jump. You super jump it.
Show me. Show your work. If she's cornered, and you hard knockdown brave counter them,
Ah, fuck, okay. I feel
That's
like
not
I've done it before. Damn. Okay.
I don't think the timing is possible. That just gets DP'd.
Alright, yeah, let me check real quick. You might be right, I just may be on some bullshit.
You can definitely side swap and get the
Is
the
it still our
jump in,
strike,
but it's
right?
not a safe jump.
It's still our strike, right?
It is running lights. Is his
Running lights?
game.
Okay. Okay. I'm messing it up, fuck. Yeah, okay, you are right. Okay, that's wrong on me. I still think though having this is still kind of insane because once you get a hit, you get the side switch from there anyways. And the fact of the matter is, I value the corner a little bit less if you can consistently do this because you have the looping pressure now of Galleon with this.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed watching how you play, is that you value that 214 or 236M into Oki setup a lot more than I do, and you don't value the corner as much as I do. And I think like when you compare the majority of the cast that can just take the corner from hard knockdown brave counter, like that's what people say is broken. Is like you just has turned something that was their offense into your offense at the strongest point that your offense can
That
be.
is fair enough. I just feel like I guess that's just a difference in mindset because I feel like this is already just super strong offense on its own.
It is super strong. It is super strong. But compared to a side swap safe jump that corners the opponent,
Yeah, no, that
anything
is
stronger
fair.
than that.
That is fair. I think it's also just once again comfortability. I am one of the few people that are willing to block in the corner.
Yeah. I'm willing to block in the corner too, but Galleon's defensive options aren't that good. Yeah, like you need to you need to be more frugal on how you DP things than most other characters, and if you're spending all your brave points on brave counter, then that's like a recipe for disaster.
I guess I haven't been hit by Sandalphon Lariat in a while, so I guess that is correct on that I haven't thought about it much. I just feel like the zoning argument isn't that good though. But I do concede that I probably have not been giving enough respect to his neutral skill.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Songo's a Sandalphon player.
Songo, what do you think of this matchup? Like, I'm very curious. Yep, I had a feeling.
Really?
It's something
Okay,
I've...
but do you hate it because you 2-4U and neutral all the time, or like why do you hate
Hello,
it?
Icebound. Like, can you describe like one of the reasons why you hate it? Like, what is a particular aspect that makes the blood boil? At the end of the day, I feel like Sandalphon kind of has the biggest Shoto problem, where Sandalphon kind of does all three ranges pretty good. Like, he has okay good, Like, he doesn't do extremely good in all 3 ranges, but he does pretty good in all of them. But they're just not, because he's not enough, basically.
I think that, like, that argument serves to my point, because, like, nobody, except for Ferry, is beating Galleon in her range. So if he's doing just, like, slightly better than the average Shoto in the close range and the long range, that just means that he's existing in the ranges that he wants to exist stronger.
What I'm saying is basically, Sandalphon is a character that has a good mid-range and is basically a Shoto that's more focused on the mid-range. That has the close range and the far range stuff.
When he's playing against other characters, he can't zone. The same way that others Shotos can't zone because ult fireballs exist. Like,
also, we're seeing Sango post a little bit. So while 2-1-4-U is the brain itcher, I can say it kind of feels like you have to play fewer ranges. He does have good options. That is correct. Sandalphon does have good options, like with, as you said, with the range skip and some of the fireball stuff. But the problem is, it feels like he kind of has to at least go into Galleon eventually. Like, he can't keep up a zoning game forever. He eventually is going to have to approach.
I think he can keep up the zoning game. I think that's the where I see the vision, and maybe others don't. I don't think I've seen a Sandalphon able to keep the range. The thing is, it's theoretically possible, but I have not seen a Sandalphon do it, and most Sandalphons that I've tried have died for it. That maybe. I think I might be thinking too theoretically about the matchup. Just like the way I see it, he has a fireball that has good variations. Although the medium fireball is really, really slow. But him having the wind form and the fire form, coupled with the 2-2M projectile, that you like the way that you used it. I don't think a Sandalphon would use it because. Like,
you are correct. It's probably not that way. It's just I'm just trying to show an example of like some of the range stuff with it, because the 2-2-U thing is really dangerous now. Because like stance is really dangerous to do against a 5-U crumple. It's a simple truth.
Yeah. I mean, like, my matchup experience against the Sandalphon isn't versus one of the top players. It's versus my friend that I got into the game. Or like, well. Hold on, before I impeach myself, I played against top level Sandys. I do know how to play the matchup.
Have you made Cow Hunter want to get off the game?
No, Cow Hunter rinses me. But the thing is,
I do enjoy talking about this because I do not just want to over-invalidate everything as well.
Yeah, I'm the same way. The things that he does really opens my eyes to Sandy's zoning patterns. Is that he uses the 2-2M teleport to dodge the 2-2U. So if you do the pattern where like you block the fireball full screen and then you immediately 2-2U to catch the 2-2M, his ass was going to try to dodge the thing, dodge the ult, or dodge the meteor, and then punish me for the thing. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
I feel like that's not possible though.
He teleports forward. He invulns through it. He times it correctly. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, I don't know if you can do it, like, if you're not controlling Sandalphon.
I feel like
he reacts to the... Look, there you go, he just did it.
Yeah, but he got hit by the level 3 rock there.
Yeah. But most of the time that you're using 2-2...
Yeah, it's level 1 rock, Yeah. Although, not necessarily, because I feel like Sandalphon is a matchup where you can kind of get a lot of trap placements, because his fireball startups are kind of slow.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's like... If you're...
Again, in this zoning gameplay, Galleon, because of how his zoning works, there's a lot of free windows where Galleon gets the trap down.
I think, hold on, let me check the dust loop really quick. I think Sandalphon has more invulnerability on the teleport than the meteorite can hit him. Let me see. Yeah, he has 7 to 16, that is 8 frames of invulnerability, so you can just time it correctly and be immune to the meteorite.
So I'm sorry, I feel like that's just a simple case of getting gapped. I'm sorry, that just sounds like he's gapping you.
He is kind of gapping me, bro. Like when he does that shit, I'm like, bro, you need to be stopped.
I do feel like that's just adjectives. I'm sorry, sir, that's just gap.
I know he's just shitting on me. But it opens my eyes to the potential that this character has at that long range.
Yeah, it's just
And
I feel like at the end of the day, when it comes to my opinion on theoretical versus paper, I need to see the characters actually consistently doing it before I put it down, because it's the same logic that I use against Percival. Because Percival on paper should win against Galleon, but Percivals have not done it yet.
I think Percival wins against Galleon.
Oh no,
I think he needs to win more against Galleon than she does against him. So.
Yeah, it's just I feel like theoretically Percival should be winning the matchup, but the Percival players just haven't pulled it out yet. So
yeah, the Percival players can't do it. Hashtag Percival can do it. Percival players can't do it.
No, like unironically, it feels like because they have all the tools, it feels like there's an execution there that's just missing. Like their game plan isn't.
He's hard. He's annoyingly hard.
I feel like they're also just more focused on the wrong game plan there. It feels like Percival players are currently focusing on the wrong game plan at the moment, and it's what's costing them against the Galleon matchup.
Yeah, that's what I feel the Shoto players are doing. Is like in the Galleon matchup, I think they're focusing too much on the mid range because they play every other matchup like that. When they really just need to focus
I'm willing to put Sandalphon closer to even then. I'm willing to compromise on that.
Yeah, I'll shake your hand on that.
Avatar.
After Belial, I think it's like, even though he has everything that he would ever want against a character like Galleon, I think it's Galleon advantage. You hit him once, he's
I was about to say,
yeah.
Because the thing is, Avatar can kind of just get rocked in by flight the whole time. Like, he doesn't have any flight options, and a lot of his zoning stuff does lose. Basically, here's the thing: Avatar has to play this like a zoner matchup.
Yep, absolutely.
Like
he has to play like a zoner matchup where one of his stronger like get in for free or zoning tools actually amplifies the power of 2-2-U. 2-2-U hits him earlier in flight than he would on the ground because he's airborne. So
there's also just the potential of getting hit with that as well. And then you just get 2-2-U'd. And you're also a very squishy character against Galleon.
Yep. And you're spending health on your skills, you're spending health on your pack
Like, this is a very clear 2-touch situation.
Yeah.
The thing is, Evil can and will spend the entire game stoning Galleon out to get one burst in that does kill Galleon. But once again, is that thing, you're playing on a knife edge the whole time against a character that just needs to get you good once.
I also don't think...
Ah, fuck! I once again messed up there, my bad.
I don't think his zoning is that good. You can crouch his eye laser, you can roll his medium fireball. His light fireball doesn't reach far enough to like be a consistent threat. Like the only thing that is really scary or like kind of scary is the flight laser, but you just 2-2-U that and he can't do anything because he has to do the instant laser for it to actually reach.
To be fair, I have seen Abel's do really good on like fake flighting, like they instantly go back down to block the 2-2-U and such. So Abel does have some options, but the thing is like those options aren't the greatest because it's still, you're still blocking, and now I'm plus 11 in this situation.
Yep. And then even if they start doing the fake flights, you just place a meteorite and then block if they stay up there. Like once they show that you're like, ooh, I'm gonna bait out your meter, he's like, okay, have a bigger meteorite underneath you, buddy.
There's also the fact that you can also just start yoinking him like that.
Yep. If he's too close, you just grab him with the air grab. Like, it feels really bad because like I know they love doing the they love doing 2-2-H like Oki, where they can air unblockable you if they do the laser and it's the command grab.
Yeah, I know that. That doesn't work against Galleon.
Whenever they do that, they're always in range of 63M.
Yeah.
So they just get scooped.
It's kind of like that thing, like, Abel has a chance to kill Galleon with the zoning and then going in for like one cash out combo, but he has to he's basically on a deck of cards, basically. His foundation is a deck of cards that if he guesses incorrectly once, he dies for it.
Yep.
And Galleon has the and Galleon isn't a low HP, so she isn't like being exploded off one mistake at the moment. Basically, it's like in this game, Abel dies in 2 touches, and Galleon will die in 2.5 touch.
I think it's a 2-touch like Galleon. if you whittle Galleon down, then it's a 2-touch game either side.
Yeah, but you have to do that whittling down first, and in that
Yeah,
chance
yeah.
of whittling down, you can get. That's the problem. Like the whittling down isn't safe. That's the thing. If it was completely safe, I would put the matchup closer to even. But no, Avatar has to put out risk for himself, and if he gets hit by one of these risks, he loses so much.
Yep,
Like
I agree.
this is already like that HP right there. That's already command grab death range. I'm pretty sure. Actually, we're gonna test that right now. Recovery.
I'm pretty sure any ult command grab puts him below 50% HP.
No
with
HP
the rock
recovery.
rate.
So I think this is that. Oh yeah, no, that's that. That's death with regular super and full brave counter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's death.
Holy.
And that was off. I'm pretty sure that was off just a regular Oki combo as well. Like that's how bad the situation is. Like I didn't lie when I said it is a 2-touch game. That was 2 touches.
Yep.
And it was off a common touch as well. Like it was off this first.
Yeah, it was off the meteorite. But even with the 5U killing the damage skin.
So like yeah, this is I put this as a Galleon advantage matchup.
Yeah, Galleon advantage. Galleon Chippin might be very broken.
There's also
That's
the fact
what I
that Galleon
think
has so much chip as well, and
Yeah,
Avatar is
yeah,
a character
that's
that puts himself into chip, and Galleon is a character that has guaranteed checkmate chip outs.
Yep. Yep.
For those who don't know what a checkmate chip out is, it's basically a situation where like, at that point, there is nothing you can do to stop from being chipped out. In the case of Avatar,
And the chip out is spaced so that he can't do the SSBA command grab, like it's the strike version.
so for example,
Very, very good.
if you block far heavy, and there's a travel under you, you have lost the game.
You got me.
I'm gonna make sure he's crouch blocking. Like this is straight up actually a GG moment. I have to put it at 0, right?
The GG shake my hand.
Okay, no, I don't know how you can have it chipped out on this. But basically the thing is, because of how, if you have no HP to chip out, because far heavy into trap is true. There is nothing you can do to get out of this.
Play's over.
Yeah, if you do far heavy right here, he dies.
Yeah. Because far heavy into trap is a guaranteed like jail. You can't backdash, you can't spot dodge. It will you get counter hit instead and die like that. So it really is just a guaranteed chip out. You would have to spot dodge the far heavy. And spot dodging far heavy
And even if you
is
do,
so
even if you
dangerous.
spot dodge the far heavy, you're even at best.
Counter on block, we're gonna do spot dodge.
I don't think the bot will get hit by it because it's a true block string.
Well, yeah, because of how the bot works. So I need to wait a little bit. But yeah, at the end of the day, you can't just the Galleon can't just wait.
And then kill you.
Yeah, or just do something like this and kill you like that. Like Galleon checkmates are really scary, man. And Avatar is a character that will put himself in that situation very often because of how his HP works.
He hates living.
Truly. Alright, Mr. Soiya Man.
Soriz is...
Where do you think I put him?
I feel like you think he's at a disadvantage against Galleon, so Galleon advantage.
That is correct. That is where I would put him. I think you probably value the little bit of his offense a bit more, I assume?
I kind of do, but at the same time, he's one of those characters where it's like... What he does, like, Galleon can beat, but Galleon doesn't have the tools that makes it really easy to beat.
The Galleon
Like-
buffs made the matchup hard. That is correct, Dragon. 2-2M
Yeah.
also helped a lot. There's also the fact that for those who don't know, Galleon can on reaction always far heavy hit Soriz out of his medium neutral skip.
On reaction?
Yes.
Oh wait, yeah, it's true. It's a 39.
You can do this on reaction.
I didn't even think about that.
The-
Yeah, wait. Wait,
This
that's
right
the
here
spot.
is his plus on block special, And Galleon can do something like this on reaction. Let's say you have trap already.
Oh, it's a 29. It's not 39.
This is reactable.
Oh heck no, SpongeBob. That was not a reaction. That's 25 total frames and you hit a 13
No,
frame move. That's a 12 frame reaction.
You just look at Soriz. If you see him wind up the fist, you counter hit. You can also do it quite late, as you saw.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that might be cap.
Dragon can testify to this. The amount of times I punch him in the face with that. Dragon testify,
If you're doing it, you're the GOAT.
There's also another funny thing you can do to him also. I think that also beats up the ult one.
Yeah, that one's good. I like that.
There's also the fact that if you are 5Uing at any point already, he's getting hit because...
Yeah, he gets hit.
There's also the problem that I have with him is like, his offense is kind of very BC hit.
Yeah.
Like there's very clear windows to BC. And also, he's our first rushdown character that doesn't have a mirrorless DP. Not having a mirrorless DP against Galleon is bad.
Yeah. Like, I think of the matchup as, like, there's one side of the screen that Soriz is on that he wins, and the other side he loses. And whoever can keep the other in the screen that they want wins the matchup. So it's like, and Galleon's pretty good at keeping them far away. Like, everything she does, any hit, she sends them full screen.
Yeah.
Boom. All right, buddy.
Yeah, like, here's the problem. Like, this situation right here, like what Dragon was talking about. Because Galleon can almost always stuff the Soriz thing at farther ranges like this. Like, this is much more easier to react to. And once you're doing that, Soriz has to start playing closer and start playing in the mid-range. And what is Galleon's best range again?
The mid-range.
Yeah, so like this is an entire game that forces Soriz to kind of give up his only neutral skip tool to play at a range that Galleon is comfortable at the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this range, Soriz kind of has to hope that he gets like this at one point. And like, yeah, that's a pretty good thing. That beats out some of Galleon's like far medium stuff. But you're still relying on a random like minus special move.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the roundhouse kick whiffs into roundhouse kick.
Yeah. Especially
it's
because
like, oh,
if Galleon is just waiting, it'll work out for you. Just wait. And Soriz is just not threatening Galleon.
The offense into his what's it called? The flex.
Mm-hmm.
You can just command grab it on reaction.
Yeah.
Even if you cancel the normal. Like, he has to, like, cancel it immediately. Like, he has to react to you hitting him in the stance.
Like, the RPS is once again against him also.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of why I put this as a really bad matchup for him, because, like, his main thing... Oh yeah, the 6 was also really good against 5U, because it basically puts us out of the range. I remember catching Dragon with that a few times.
The one-way 6XL is good. Holy.
No, unironically, that's the one advantage that I'll say Galleon 6XL has over others, is that it lets Galleon do a lot more spacing traps with it compared to a lot of the other members of the cast. Like, Galleon can get a BC space trap out of this. Like, this is baiting out a BC and punching the old command grab range.
Mm-hmm. It's not that bad, you know?
But yeah, you kind of see where I'm talking about, like, Soriz, because basically Soriz wants to either, like, because here's the thing, playing as Galleon, you want to skip the mid-range as fast as possible. But because of how this works with his long-range plus on block special, because here's the thing, that's his only plus on block special. The other stuff is minus in my face. Yeah, he has the fist, but that's at closer ranges. That's already in mid-range, where you have to deal with all the other stuff.
True.
At the longer ranges like this, he has to either try his plus on block neutral skip is reactable, punishable. That gets Galleon her offense going. Or you have the old one, which is minus, and it's just Galleon's turn still.
What's
or
the level?
Because like, or
you know the clash level of 236M?
236. I actually do not know. I very recall it's pretty high.
Dragon, what is the clash level of 236M?
I'm gonna trust it real quick. Oh, it just beats it out.
Because I was thinking of if you can fart medium, it's a much easier reaction to the punch. And if it's higher clash level, then it's like, ooh, it's not good.
It's 2.
It's 2. But it'll probably clash with fart medium then, yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Wow,
harder.
fucking far heavy.
I will say it's a bit of a harder reaction, but if once again it's reactable. It is in the realm of reactable compared to like some of the other stuff like Beatrix and such.
I'll have to try it.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like here's the thing: you can also just 2v6 shit as well.
Well, that's even slower.
Yeah, that is slower.
That's like a preemptive, yeah.
Yeah, that one's a bit more preemptive. Okay, but I will say is basically Soriz wants to try to skip the mid range. But because of how his long-range tools interact with Galleon, yeah, you're basically putting a stop sign in front of him, so he has to go into mid-range, and now you're in Galleon's mid-range, and he doesn't have a good enough mid-range to fight Galleon here.
Yep.
And then when he finally gets to close range, a lot of his stuff has clear BC signs to put him back into mid-range. And then Galleon, remember, does a lot of damage. This isn't like a zoner where like, okay, I can survive a few BCs. Getting BC'd against Galleon after gutting through her mid-range where you've already lost like half your health is not good. It's why I put this as a disadvantage for Soriz. Because Soriz is basically playing into Galleon's game plan from the beginning.
Yeah, Soriz is one of those matchups that I honestly just haven't bought up a lot because there's not many Soriz players.
I will say it's a matchup I've looked into it quite a bit because of both Orb and Dragon. And Micropen until he switched to Wilnas.
Yeah, the Micropen and Wilnas, bro. I have some thoughts about that dude on Wilnas.
I do not like Wilnas as a character, but that's for later.
Yeah, we'll get there. He's like halfway there. Yeah, I would agree. Galley advantage for Soriz.
Okay. Anre.
I'm gonna say even. That's my.
Here's the
gut
thing.
reaction.
His install got nerfed.
Yeah, but I don't think his install was like needle moving on the matchup.
It kind of was because it was the thing that let him win the mid range. But without that, he kind of loses it now convincingly.
Well, yeah, but like in my mind, he's a like Shoto style zoner who doesn't have super hard zoning patterns, but he doesn't want to be in the mid range. He wants to be like kind of full screen-ish or up in your face, and his up in your face is now not that good anymore.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like his up in his face got nerfed because his plus on block special is no longer plus on block, and so now he has to rely on zoning. But the thing is, the zoning by itself is not good enough. Yeah, so he has to go into mid range, but then Galleon wins mid range against it. So that's kind of like the thing. Yeah. Like he loses all 3 zones.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. My idea of him is again that he's doing that zoning, and he's a defensive specialist. So he's kind of looking.
Defensive specialist is spamming parry, and this happens.
Yeah, dude, he's a defensive specialist, but I swear to God, every Anre does not know how to play.
Oh no, they don't. No, I'm letting you on a secret. No Anre in this game knows how to play defense. Every Anre is just parry.
I know. They're like, oh, dude, they know I have a parry, so they're not going to meaty me, so I'm gonna mash on wake up. What do you mean they fucking killed me? Like
that's the simple fact. He's a defensive specialist. Oh, what's his defensive specialist? Oh, parry. Oh, what does Galleon have?
A command grab. Yep. That's why I said it's even. Because his
it's not slander, it's the truth.
The only thing he does that's good is the parry kind of mental stack, and because Galleon can just say, well,
Galleon can kind of just ignore the parry. That's the thing. Galleon gets to ignore it. Oh my god, I didn't show what happened. Fuck me. This is what I was trying to show. This. Oh, I'm parrying. Oh, whoops.
Yup, whoops.
Oh
shit. Oh fuck. And then they do the annoying ass level 2 where they start jumping into
you can deal with the 5U stuff, but then You can remember Galleon has one of the best offensive just waiting.
Yep.
Oh, I don't get a close heavy punish.
Also,
okay.
his spiral spear is pure BCB. He can't do anything off of that. He just dies. Actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I feel like Galleon probably wins this matchup. His offense, he just dies. His defense, he just dies.
His zoning is not good enough.
His zoning is like mid.
Like no, like
and the only good parts about his offense just got nerfed.
Yeah, like his zoning is supposed to be more of an anti-zoning to play in the mid-range. He's a mid-range character. But Galleon plays the mid-range better because Galleon is the queen of mid-range and Ferry is the god of mid-range. That's the difference.
Yep. Yeah.
And then any single time Anre wants to do defense,
Anre players don't know how.
Yeah. Another thing I also wanted to talk about Anre before everyone is like future lazy. Another thing I wanted to talk about Anre before we go off, as you'll probably see with a later character, but for now he's the perfect example right now. Anre is a character with parries, obviously, and obviously parries can be grabbed. However, another thing about Galleon's offense that's also really good against Anre is because how Galleon's offense is structured around basically her far heavy. Her far heavy, you do a button and then you have the option of 5U or this or waiting. And more often than not, Galleon wants to wait on her offense to create these windows for the opponent to do something to react to. And in the case of Anre with his parries, this is even more effective because the fact of the matter is, Anre's parries will always go off even if he does nothing with it. So for example, he goes for a parry and then does nothing and then the follow-up happens. But because of how Galleon's offense is structured, if he doesn't get the parry immediately on the far heavy, and does press parry at any other point, like at any point where you're doing your offense and you just wait, you can almost always get that punish or get a barrier hit punish. And that's without including stuff like the command grabs and such. Which is why I think Galleon's offense is really strong, particularly against Anre's defense. A character later on, Zeta, also has parries, but I would say Zeta has a better chance because Zeta can time out her auto parry, can time out her parries. Like Zeta doesn't have to immediately go into the air or have to do the follow-up immediately. Where Anre, you know what he's going to do after this. Like he's stuck. There is nothing he can do here to get out of this problem. So there it is.
Yeah, got the advantage.
I'm glad we moved on from that.
Yep. Ladiva, I think this is.
It's Galleon advantage, but then the problem is the Ladiva gambling situation.
I think that Ladiva is actually Galleon's best matchup. I think.
Really?
It's the easiest. Yeah. Ladiva's neutral skips are not good enough to.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just getting player diffed from JHam. Full disclosure, I feel like JHam just plays a.
The best Ladivas are probably the best players in the game. Like if they stopped playing Ladiva, and they instead spent all of their time on a top tier, like we'd be talking about them instead of Monarch.
To be fair with JM, it feels like JM is a slot machine. It's just a natural slot machine you're playing against. Which is why I dislike it, because at the end of the day, there's always a slot machine mechanic. And Ladiva 2U can be a bit annoying to deal with. But
yes,
you are correct.
If you know they're a 2U, if you know they're a 2U merchant,
yeah. At the end of the day, this is the actual fake. It's just unfortunately at the end of the day, you have to just get ready to get command grabbed and be in a slot machine sometimes.
Yep. At least it's not Potemkin. Charlotta. I want to know what you say about Charlotta because.
So this is actually a good matchup. I'm just getting gapped by Zerom.
Okay. I think it's not a good matchup, but I also think that it is a good matchup. I'm just ass at it. Like, I personally hate the matchup.
There's a thing, once again, where I talk about if the Galleon's on ball, Charlotta never gets Demon Flip.
Yeah, like, Demon Flip to me is not a real special move because you have to use it on Oki or else you die for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a literal, like, please kill me, here I am, I want to die move if you use it on your offense. But my problem with Charlotta is that the ball we can't punish, and to stuff the ball we have to like be just throwing shit out there, and that feels bad.
Well, remember the 2-2M change. This. Well, first is this. obviously, once again, you can just almost always just catch a demon flip with this. Once again, the gameplay is also just hold down like this, also just 2H. But particularly, the reason why I think this is really good against this is because this is a 6-frame anti-air. Which means if Charlotta is not doing demon flip out of an Oki situation and trying to do it in neutral at any point, you almost always can catch her.
Yep.
As for the Blanca ball, you have this now.
Let me see what you're doing on the Blanca ball. Oh, 2-2M?
Yeah, 2-2M kind of has flipped it. That's the thing now. You just 2-2M it and just wait.
I don't know. I think I'm just super averse to RPS situations because to me, Charlotta just falls in and then plays DP RPS.
What's the RPS that's happening here though?
It's light DP, invincible DP, take your turn back, or backdash.
I should tell you about the 2U stuff then.
2U, okay.
If I recall correctly, give me a sec. Oh my god, she's a charge character. I keep forgetting.
You can turn off the charge inputs.
Oh my god, I hate charge characters. Okay, let's just assume she did a flip, okay? And you're talking about light DP into EX DP, right?
Yeah, light DP or EX DP, or to take her turn back, or like any of these like annoying RPS moves. Like specifically off of the ball.
Yeah, but here's
like
a little fun.
Yeah, and then she plays.
Here's a little fun
annoying
fact.
RPS.
Okay. Okay. So first off, play. Yeah, if she tries to do that and you're trying to punish with 2U, you'll completely dodge it and then you counter punish it if she's trying to DP stuff. You can just option select it.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, if she tries light DP, you just option select.
Alright, yeah. Put her in Galleon advantage.
You just option select it.
That's... wow. Huh.
So the whole ball RPS is not real because you just option select it, and now with 2-2M, your reward is even more insane.
Okay.
She's a rush down where the projectile is herself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. I was thinking about, you said 2U and I'm like, there's no way you can do 2U.
No, you just option select her DP. Her whole DP RPS loses to 2U option select.
That's actually crazy. I'm never losing that matchup again.
No, Sarah will still cook you.
Hey, give me 3 months prep time.
Sarah and Charlotta is different from regular Charlotta. We just move on from that.
Zerum. Charlotta is its own thing.
Alright,
Seox, though.
So, Seox received invincibility with his this thing, which is really annoying.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where I place him with the new changes. I feel like there's not enough Seox players that I've played against to really understand how he's different. Because to me,
from my understanding, he's supposed to play more mid-range now. Like, they forced him more into a mid-range role, which kind of makes him worse against Galleon because of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, he doesn't, like, to me, he doesn't feel much different. Like, I wasn't trying to interrupt the empty hand dash in with a button anyways. I was just always spot dodging it and throw punishing him.
Well, you can jump it and get a better punish like that as well. Neutral jump. Neutral jump and fall down with a button.
I see. I'll add that to my repertoire then.
And yeah, they did add some. They add some new stuff with like his like rush down like this now, where like you can basically get like a combo off the medium version now a little bit if he does like the one that punches you for mashing. But even then, I feel like that's not that great.
Yeah.
Like, they basically kind of forced him more into a mid-range character, but he still is a low HP character with a parry that loses to command grab.
And his layer 2 to beat throws is not good. Like I
still hate ult empty hand, but ult empty hand is not that problematic.
Yeah.
You just wait on it. It's just a point of reading the habits. And this is a low HP character whose offense is really weak against Galleon. Who they've also made it to where he now has to play more in Galleon's range now because they've made him more mid-rangey. Like,
and they nerfed his
this
jump
thing.
into fireball. Yeah, that shit.
Where's
With
the
that gone, he doesn't have any like way to skip that mid range.
Yeah, this. They made this so much slower. That used to be so much faster, but now it's so much slower. So like his up close offense is not as scary, and they gave him more mid range offense, but you don't want that if you're fighting Galleon.
Yeah.
So like specifically the buffs made the Galleon matchup worse for him.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd put it in the clear advantage, but
I would put it in just regular advantage because he can just still overwhelm you. And his parry actually can beat out some of your far heavy stuff. All right, Meg is interesting.
I think Meg's in advantage. I think ever since I learned that you can interrupt the medium follow-up to the flip with your far medium, I've just been like completely, what does Meg even do in this matchup? Like, you don't have to do anything as Galleon. Meg will kill herself on you.
Yeah, no, that's originally what I wanted to ask about because originally I was kind of struggling a little bit because Meg has a way to kind of like basically fake retreat stuff, like where she can just like kind of like backdash away and go and then suddenly randomly go in with stuff. What's her neutral?
But this is like one of the rare cases of you don't care that they backdash. Like, if they're staying full screen, the only thing they have is the like the dash 230 or 623, and if you spot dodge that on reaction, it's super minus on whiff. So if they're saying I'm gonna play this range and I'm just gonna skip the entire screen with that, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna like place a meteorite every now and then look for that to react to it. And even if you don't react to it and you block it, the RPS afterwards is terrible. So
you're saying I can just always press far medium afterwards?
Yeah. The only things that you can do against far medium is the heavy follow-up, which is minus 13 if you block it.
So wait, am I supposed to be pressing far medium while on the first part of it?
Yeah, she does the backflip off of you, and then she can choose what she does afterwards. You press far medium there, because if she does the
medium, I'm safe. And then
if she does the fireball, you punish her. If she does the land, you're safe from all of her options. And if she does the light, it just doesn't come out. So the heavy is the only thing that beats it. And it's the same thing with her 2-2 flip as well.
Yeah, you are correct. Okay, and you don't get hit by the other parts. And that's the same with the H flip stuff?
Yep. It's the same flip.
And Meg also is a low HP character. She's 15k.
Yep. Whenever she does the flip, she's risking taking 5,000 damage from Galleon to gain at most 3,000 damage on her riskiest option.
Yeah. I will say this situation here is kind of really difficult to deal with. Galleon has a really hard time dealing with her far heavy because it's an 8 framer.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I slightly considered in the Vira and Seox matchup, but in this one it's probably more like relevant because her far heavy is actually good.
Yeah.
It makes the Vertec RPS really, really, really scary.
There's also the fact that like she can also reliably actually sometimes get out of your far heavy range pressure with 2-2-H, like almost like a Narm flip situation. Which can be very problematic to deal with. But although learning now that you can just always press far medium after it, that actually has kind of changed my opinion quite a bit now.
Yeah, because
I didn't realize that option select worked on every option. I thought you kind of had to hold some of them.
I was like a little dooming because it's like, oh, Galleon can't interrupt this character's entire game plan because she doesn't have a meterless DP. And now it's like, well, she doesn't need to because the RPS afterwards is terrible.
Okay,
and she's gonna die at that command grab combo that you're doing. Like,
yeah, I'm fine with putting her at Galleon advantage then.
Yeah.
Look at this. People were dooming that Galleon has no good matchups.
I know. She's actually like not that bad.
Granted, we're starting to get to the ranges where we're gonna probably have some characters. Granted, we have if you notice, all the bad matchups are at the end.
I do think though that like Galleon loses to players more so than she does to matchups. Like if you can react to command grab, if you know like to be proactive on her like trying to play traps, she loses to players, not so much matchups.
Alright,
Lowain,
where are
she
you
will
putting
lose.
Lowain?
I'm a dear god help. I'm a dear god help on Lowain.
Really? I would put either disadvantage or close.
Really?
Yeah. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna need to put out my points for a bit. Also, holy shit,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time and we still have so much of the cast to go through. Fuck.
Yeah, we can go a little faster if you want.
Yeah, because I don't know how much time I have left. I probably have like at most an hour and 30.
Gotcha.
Okay. So the main reason why I think this is potentially a closer even matchup is because a lot of Lowain's setup stuff, Galleon can actually reliably interrupt with 236H or 5U callouts or 22U callouts. Like particularly if Lowain calls bros at this range, that's a guaranteed 236H punish.
Yeah.
Like you basically get to remove the bro punish there and get this. And also Lowain wants to set up like cat bots and such, but he kind of has to find it's kind of hard for him to find opportunity with 5Us and 22Us. You can prevent Lowain from setting up quite easily.
Yeah, I think for me, like I struggle with the Lowain matchup because I'm not good at
there's
doing
also
different.
another big thing to know about Lowain. That you're gonna not find insane.
Is it the parry?
You get a guaranteed just punish him for parrying.
Yeah, off of the space break. Yeah, yep.
Like, by the way, space par heavy is also your common like pressure. Like this is your common thing. Off your common offense, Lowain's TP doesn't work. He gets punished for it. Now, if Lowain starts getting bots set up, it can be problematic. And Lowain's grab pressure, like his strike throw pressure, can be very scary. There is another thing, however, also that once again just insane reaction type stuff. Where like if he's going for like this type of offense there, you can grab, but that's just inhuman like read call out situations. But it is still a potential option.
Yeah. Yeah, some of his setups in the corner.
Some of his setups are reactable. Not all of them, but some of them will be reactable. And like this is the case, like Lowain's defense is also really bad against Galleon. I will say Lowain does have some annoying stuff, like he has 2M low profiles you quite a bit.
Okay, you want to know something funny about that? If he's in the corner or you're in the corner and you even tech, if you just do far heavy, you completely shit on him.
Really?
I think it's if he's in the corner. If he's cornered and you throw tech, far heavy, it just completely, his 2M just whips.
Alright, look.
And you kill him with the far heavy.
Let's see that. It would be crouching 2M, and then we're going to do crouching sweep afterwards. Crouching sweep is probably too slow, and it actually gets already gets counter hit.
I think the sweep reaches in time. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure what the first active ramp. Hold on, I'm Mr. Dust Loop. I'm going to the Dust Loop. Me when I'm a little too Dust Loop. Let me check the Dust Loop for that.
Okay, yeah, in the corner you will get counter hit, but if he's in the corner and you have enough pushback,
if he's in the corner,
yeah, you get the counter hit him there.
But if you try to do far medium and he does 2M, you lose.
Yeah, because of low profiles. Which is also one of the biggest problems I say in this matchup, because like his strike throw game is really strong and Galleon doesn't have a good thing out of throw tech situations in the corner. And Lowain also just has really scary chip out situations, and he can play a big running game, which can actually be kind of hard for Galleon to catch, which is why I kind of put it closer to even or slight advantage towards him. But I don't put it as I don't put it as Dear God Help though, because Galleon has those moments to actually catch him, and when she does catch him, Lowain is struggling.
Yeah, to me it just feels bad to like try and chase him down, because like you always want to be representing something, because if he just gets to eat for free, then
but
you're just gonna lose regardless.
The thing is, you can always, if he's trying to eat for free, you catch him with a 2-2 or this, and then you suddenly gain the space.
Yeah. So you're always trying to do something like that, but that's when he says, well, I'm just gonna wait for you to charge 5U and I'm gonna jump and then I'm gonna eat, or I'm gonna backdash and then I'm gonna
Yeah,
eat.
but if he then
Can't
starts
punish
waiting,
that.
then you get to start walking. It's like that's the whole whole mindset.
It's
Basically,
the whole, like, the song and dance. I'm just not very good at it because Lowain high-key rage baits me.
Yeah,
and
that's to be fair, that's his
the most
intention.
impatient I get in the matchup. It's like seeing his little goofy ass run away with his backdash. That pisses me off. Dude.
That's the
I hate
thing.
looking
The
at
thing
him
is, that's his
backdash.
whole job. He's trying to rage bait you.
I know. I fall for it every damn time.
But yeah, compared to other characters who are running away from you, you have options in this that are much better, which is why I put him closer to even. We will get to the Dear God Helps later. Trust me.
Yeah. So I'm a-okay with disadvantage.
Yeah, I'll put a
and admitting
disadvantage.
a skill issue.
Okay, Lucilius. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is either an even or disadvantage matchup in my eyes.
Yeah. There's like, if you
It's
get
a
the
case
ball rolling
of
early,
whoever gets the snowball rolling.
Yeah.
Because if
whoever starts first wins, and some of the situations where it's like Lucilius and Galleon are even, it feels like a little bit Lucilius favored. It's a little easier for him to get started.
easier for Lucilius to get started, but it's also harder for him to get out.
Yep.
It's kind of basically that. These are basically like the closest of even characters because these are both characters mid-range that are playing for a resource. Lucilius is trying to play up to level 5. Galleon is trying to get trapped active. These are both characters that can whiff punish each other.
Yep.
These are characters that both have options against their own full screen options. Galleon has a little bit of an option to select with her DP at times, and Galleon also has some really good punishes with the Tesseract of this. But yeah, it's basically, I don't know what more to say other than this match is basically dead even.
Yeah.
Like this is a matchup where basically
I would say dead even until the first hit, and then whoever gets the first hit, it's their advantage.
Yeah, but then whoever can flip it can. The thing is, at the end of the day, they can flip the advantage on each other as well.
I think Galleon can flip the advantage a little harder than Lucilius can. Because if you're just shitting on Lucilius and then he gets a good hit, he's only gonna get like.
That's the thing.
levels.
Like it's hard. That's the thing. Like if Lucilius snowballs, it gets better for him because once he turns, because Galleon can't really, because if Galleon turns it back, he's already at this level. But in that case, on the other hand, if Lucilius turns it back against the Galleon that was leading, he has a much bigger hill to climb.
Yeah. I would say even. Even is probably fair.
It's basically kind of is, yeah. What about him doing 5U in neutral? Well, the thing is with 5U in neutral is you once again you have the options to dome him with rock or 5U stuff. And yeah, he can kind of react out of it, but if he's just trying to, like for example, if he is just starting to do 5U like this. Oh, whoops. And like start doing stuff like this with it. You can actually kind of react on the 2-2H with this. Like, this is straight up, like, reactable. Or you can also start doing 2-5U stuff. Or just start putting trap under him, which makes him nervous. And makes him want to do stuff. Like, Galleon has options to do. And once again, there are options that Lucilius can do out of stance that make things difficult for Galleon. That's what it means. It's like, it's a very even situation.
I think the biggest thing to kind of keep in mind, though, is that you can't be preemptively 5Uing if he has the Tessera cooldown.
Yeah.
Because, like, the biggest thing for me is, like, if he wastes that shit, I'm like, oh, sure, bro. Run to the corner for me. Because I'm just going to charge 5U, and you can't teleport on me for it. So if you go into stance, you get crumpled. Like, it's not a good situation for him if he doesn't have... And
Lucilius is a character that you can actually keep cooldowns in mind much easier, because his cooldowns at the beginning are long. Like, when he's out of Tesseract, that is a clear moment for Galleon to start ramming 5Us down, to start striking the earth, and start gaining space.
But once he gets level 5 and like the cooldown's gone on to 3 seconds, no.
Galleon starts struggling, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you're playing an even matchup, then more often than not, Lucilius will be at low enough HP to where if you get that one last hit, you should win.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely killed Lucilius's way before they could ever have any chance at winning the matchup.
Okay, next up is Percival.
You were talking about this earlier, where like they're kind of playing it wrong, but I think like if you take what he has and compare it against what Galleon has, he has an advantage, but he needs to take the advantage more often than Galleon does, which kind of like to me evens it out a little bit. It's like a similar case as like Belial or Djeeta, where I would say it's like a 0.4 disadvantage.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, he wants to do like this type of flame carpet pressure stuff, but this is actually offense that Galleon can also potentially answer because Galleon is one of the few characters that can once again whiff punish the Percival.
Yeah.
And if Percival wants to play a big zoning fireball game, he can kind of get 2H'd for his troubles. And he can actually granted Percival can also just jump scare you with this. Like, there's a lot of evenness in the matchup, personally.
I think you just have to be on point. Like, both sides have to be on point, but Percival needs to get more hits in a matchup than Galleon does.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of like skews it a little bit even towards me. Or
Okay.
skews it even for me.
I will say, I think we're starting to reach the point where we're starting to run out of steam because we're not going in depth, sadly.
Oh, I mean, like, there's not much to say about Percival. There's not many players. Like, I could go on and on about Beelzebub. I love the Beelzebub matchup.
I will say, Beelzebub, Galleon is one of the most fun matchups in this game in my eyes.
It is one of the most fun matchups. I played Versusia beforehand. I was like, oh man, this is an awesome matchup because I actually had a reason to use Nimbus as an anti-air. And this is like the exact same thing. I think if he doesn't dive kick, he has a pretty significant advantage because he's just controlling the space better than Galleon can. But the Bubs players have the dive kick brainworm. They want to do it, and they will do it, and they'll die for it. I don't want to say it's even, just because of the amount of pressure Beelzebub has, like everywhere else in the game.
The thing is there's also other stuff, like if he wants to start doing like nail charge stuff, is like Galleon can actually react and hit him with 2 punishes.
Yep.
And now we're in Galleon's range. Not only that, you could actually do another one. You can actually 2-3-6H him at certain ranges. And this is an even bigger reward. And even then, like, the anti-air dive kick is not always... There's ways that he can get around it. He can also, like, do anti-air. He can wait. Like, the thing what makes the Bub matchup so much fun is, like, each situation has, like, 3 to 4 different options for both sides. And it depends on which one is thinking. Like, it's why it's my favorite matchup, because there's so much expression and thinking that has to happen. Because every situation has, like, 5 different permutations for both sides.
Yep. I think it's... The Beelzebub matchup is the matchup where you get to play around with your tools the most.
Yes, both characters play with their
Galleon.
Yeah, you're using all your tools.
Are very specific.
You're using all your tools, and you're using them in a variety of ways, which makes it so much fun.
Like, it almost feels bad to put it as disadvantage, but like I think it's
probably is closer to disadvantage because Beelzebub can just retreat and then fake out and do stuff like that.
Yeah. I think any character that can do that, where they kind of win by backdashing, that's probably a disadvantage.
Yeah. It feels bad because there's so much. It's the funnest matchup in the game, and there's so much expression. And at the end of the day, it's Beelzebub having to play a specific way also to win that matchup also. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with this matchup. This matchup is so much fun. It's probably closer to disadvantage, but it's so much skill expression there involved. I love it.
I just hope the Bubs players are having fun as well.
Basically, we'll put this at the top of disadvantage.
Yeah. The most fun losing matchup in the game.
Fasaraga. Now I'll be put at stake for this, but this is an even matchup.
You think it's even? I think it's like need to work for it, because I think it's so difficult to keep him out of armor, and once he gets armor, it's over.
The thing is that it can be difficult to put him out of armor. No, backward cap says nope. I hate fighting Galleon. The thing is with Fasaraga is that once again, this is another case of very heavy snowball stuff, and Galleon can fight Fasaraga for the round start. Like, the round start has like 8 different permutations for both sides. You have like far heavy versus far medium. You have far heavy versus stance. You have 5U versus stance. You have 5U versus jump. You have 2-3-6M versus far medium that punishes that. You have 2-3-6M versus fireball. You have 5U versus fireball. You have 2-3-6H versus fireball. Like, there is so many permutations in that round start that can massively throw the game into one side or the other. And Fasaraga has a really hard time dealing with Galleon's trap stuff.
Yeah, I think like my only pushback against the round start is the round starts that Vasaraga wins, he instantly gets into his win condition, and he has it until he uses it. Like armor is the lose condition for Galleon,
Yeah.
and if he wins that round start, he gets armor. Like that's the reward. But if Galleon wins the round start, there's only a few round starts that she gets to be in her win condition. Like 5U, you get the 6-6H and you get him into the corner, that's your win condition. He's armorless, he's in the corner, and he's this big slow guy, he's not getting out. That's the win condition.
The thing is, I also feel like you also need to kind of focus a bit more on the mid-screen stuff also, because remember, Galleon can put him in this trap situation mid-screen as well.
Yeah, but the hits that you need to be able to do that aren't always coming from round start options.
That is
like
true.
If you hit him with our medium,
the 236H
you either cancel
one.
into 236H or you get 5U. 5U's probably better in that situation, but that's just a meteorite underneath him where he has to deal with it.
Yeah. The thing
Versus
is though,
if he hits you at all, if he wins, he gets armor and then the matchup wins.
You are correct on that, but there also the fact of the matter is having trap under him in the first place also makes it harder for him to even get Soulforge up in the first place. Like, there's two schools of thought of fighting Vasaraga. You either deal with the Soulforge, or you prevent the Soulforge from happening in the first place, and Galleon's one of those characters that can actually prevent him from having Soulforge by constantly keeping trap on him.
I don't know if it's just me, but I struggle super hard keeping him out of Soulforge. Because I feel like he just, like, hard knockdown Brave counter. He gets Soulforge. Off of regular Brave counter. He can start Soulforge, he can be punished for it, but like...
Well, remember, they nerfed it to where if he gets hit during the start of Soulforge, he doesn't get Soulforge, remember?
Yeah.
There's also another thing, is also, Vasaraga is quite weak to grab. And interestingly enough, because of how Soulforge works, there are certain moments where you can actually grab him out of his pressure strings. Galleon also does have a way to break armor, in case you didn't know. Yeah,
the 5U Meteor Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like that's so
it's specific. It is niche, but it's still an option that forces Vasaraga. Because here's the thing, Vasaraga, because of how Galleon can just grab him out of Soulforge, means he has to do his armor offense different from most of the casts. He has to do these quick bursts of armor where he wants to be standing armor. He wants to be standing armor in your face, but he can't do that against Galleon.
I think like that's only when she has 100 meter, because even her 50 meter grab is too slow to get in between the stomps. You have to like guess when he's gonna do the swing.
Well, in the stomps, you just do regular grab, like.
Yeah, regular grab works. Yeah, but even that is.
If he's doing far range stomps, you grab him actually. Like he will actually get caught by far range stomps. Oh wait, that was close range stomps. Hold up. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, legitimately, if he misses the first stomp and tries to go for a second stomp, you can just catch him.
Yeah, but I think like his whole design is that the stomp will frame trap into one of his lighter
obviously, yeah. Like Soulforge is not an easy
2.
situation, but what I'm saying is Galleon has tools to prevent Soulforge from happening, and even when she gets Soulforge, Galleon still has an option or a chance somewhere.
I can see that. I think I personally struggle with preventing him getting Soulforge.
There's also the fact that like Galleon's offense is just so oppressive against Vasaraga.
Yeah, but again, that's like universal. Her pressure is super.
But yeah, but remember, Vasaraga's fastest button is a 6-framer, and he doesn't. And his DP can his DP can be outside of a lot of. Remember, you can just walk back on his command grab stuff, or just like block this with this.
But then he also beats the stagger pressure with the super armor ultimates as well. I think it's definitely disadvantage at best.
I think I can be down with
that's
disadvantage because he does have the HP to kind of withstand some stuff. But I don't think it's a work for it compared to some of the other characters. There are times where Vasaraga will just die.
I hope I can get to that level of confidence in the matchup one day.
To be fair, I was also one of the persons that fought Fuselet the most.
Yeah.
And BSG is also Texan, so.
Oh hell yeah. He's local oomph.
The Yool gaming.
Yool, I think on
I
paper,
think Galleon destroys Yool.
yeah, on paper, I think Yool gets smoked by Galleon.
Like the biggest thing is like her backflip stuff, and Galleon can kind of just wait and kill her for it.
Yeah, Galleon can option select the backflip. She can far heavy on reaction, and it'll build both of the advances. And if she does the charge H, she recovers in time to block it.
Yeah.
So it's like
this is a case of Yool.
It's an annoying matchup for sure.
Yool's
it's
a
super annoying. But I think it's Galleon favored.
She's a rushdown, which her rushdown is actually pretty scary against Galleon because she's actually going to check throw rushdown. But she's rarely going to get to it, and she has to work, and she has a really hard time of dealing with Galleon and her mid screen, basically. This is a rushdown character that doesn't have a fireball. She's basically the same position as Charlotta. Basically the same problems that Charlotta has, Yool has, but with even worse defense.
And I think I have the same problems with the matchup where she just forces you into these RPS situations, and I just despise dealing with RPS.
She wants to RPS you. If you slow down the game, Yool's lost.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on Yool.
Yeah, there's a guy that's picking up Yool at my local, and I also have another friend that's picking up Yool, so
Wilnas.
It's gonna be fun. Wilnas, I think, is in a similar vein as Soriz, except Galleon's tools don't work as well against his.
They don't work as well, and Wilnas' reward is so much unfair. Wilnas is a character that is just poorly designed with his risk reward. His risk reward is not designed at all.
Why does he have a meterless DP? That's crazy to me. A character with that much health, that much damage, also has a meterless invincible reversal that his medium goes almost round starts.
It is.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and it gets a full combo if it counter hits.
But no. His DP, his medium DP.
Yeah.
His knee, gives him a ton of reward for hit. And it's it's slow.
He also has the very.
I don't have a DP.
He also has the very big buttons that actually challenge Galleon in the mid range quite a bit. If you'll notice, good Wilnas players are just waiting for you to do something to just do this.
Yep.
And do that, which is side switch, 5k, and now you're in this overhead mix-up camera mix situation. Which, by the way, why is this safe?
Well, the ult one isn't, because it has less pushback. But the overhead, I don't know why they made that shit -4.
Yeah, it's just, and both versions give you a full combo. This is basically, in my eyes, the problem is, I would have pointed to this as an even matchup if Wilnas just didn't have extreme damage and DP for no reason.
Yeah.
This is basically, because these are both characters that can kind of fight each other in the mid-range, but because Wilnas has a DP and has basically obscene damage compared to Galleon that has to get a rock set up first, I give this also above average HP for Wilnas as well. Wilnas is a 17k boy.
Yep, big ass guy.
17k boy and extra damage for no reason.
Yep, but he's slow and he doesn't have a dash. Okay. Yeah, I would say if Galleon had a meterless DP, this would be much closer to even. But because
if Galleon had a meterless DP, we would have to rework the entire chart.
Yeah. I don't think she has a skill that would work as a meterless DP, which is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very easy disadvantage, and depending on who you're playing, you kind of need to work.
Yeah. Granted, the more mindless a Wilnas is, the better it is for you. A Wilnas that's actually playing for the medium, and Wilnas that's actually trying to play spacing traps and such, that's when it actually gets hard.
Yeah.
All right, Zoe's our first.
I will absolutely get smoked by Micro Penne, Brown Start, JU.
All right, here's our first need to work for it character, Zooey.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
So, originally, Zooey, I was originally at slight disadvantage / almost even, but then there was one thing that Zooey that they changed that completely reworked the entire matchup.
The dragon and the...
Light dragon.
Knockdown. Yeah.
Light dragon doing hard knockdown now completely changes the risk reward before and makes it so against Galleon to an insane degree. This knockdown situation means any trade you have with her is Zoey favored. And Dragon is so spammable.
Yeah. And it's +3 in the corner. Like, she
Yeah.
spaces it, 6XL to Light Dragon, it's plus like 2 to 3.
The thing about the space, at least the thing is, Zoe runs a lot of space offense, and her space offense is limited. Like, eventually she will run out of dragon.
Yeah, after 20 Light Dragons, she'll run out. Like, unless she's using the laser or the fire breath, I don't consider the dragon gauge a resource. Like, the Light Dragon is by far one of the stronger ones. Well, I guess
And there's also the
not
fact that
strongest.
all fireball is also very problematic to deal with.
Yep.
And trying to jump, at any point she can anti-air you with her EX and combo. Granted, it's now minus now, which is a nice
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's a struggle.
It's basically the big problem is Light Dragon can challenge you at the mid range the whole time. It's kind of like almost like a Ferry situation, but you have options to roll it because it's a projectile at the end of the day and jump it. So you have better options than you would as a like Ferry, but you still need to work heavily hard for this.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
It's so low, like, not low commitment, but it's like low on the mind of the Zooey player. Like,
There's
this is just
also-
like what they're doing.
There's also the fact that 6H will beat out your far heavy stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing. I didn't want to say it and like sound like a scrub, like, oh, you get fucking 6H, but like forcing me to use 2M instead of far medium in a lot of cases, it like
Yeah, because
I
like let's
don't-
say you're doing trap stuff and boom. Because it can be a read on your, because here's the thing, far heavy is like Galleon's most common offense.
yeah.
Granted, you can 5U stuff like with it, like it can be 5U based. But as you can see, 5U can be a bit slow.
Yeah, I think it's just another tool that she has that makes the matchup more annoying.
Yeah.
So I think needs to work for it is perfect.
But yeah, basically, he needs to work for it because Light Dragon, if Light Dragon didn't do the hard knockdown, this would probably be a bit easier. But Light Dragon does so much, and it makes it so hard. This entire matchup is revolving around that move. That's how game warping it is in this area.
Yep.
All right, Katalina.
Katalina, I think Katalina.
It's either disadvantage or needs to work for.
Yeah, I think the recent changes made it a little easier because now her light wall doesn't consistently punish everything. But she still kind of scraps really well in the mid range, and
That's
she
the-
kind of does it better in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, the problem is that Katalina is a character that can actually dance around your mid range stuff. Oh, whoops. Because of the little walkback she has on her lariat. This
Yeah,
lariat is
dude.
also ridiculously safe, by the way.
the Crystal Hakurei, that shit is crazy.
This right here, that little walkback can add. So this is 5U range, and then she can walk back out of it to bait out your 5U and catch a U. This lariat also beats out your 236H.
Yep. I mean, Kat's just been good. I've seen people place her lower and lower as like her relevance kind of fades, but
Yeah, you can see she can dance around your stuff.
and the other thing that I think is really strong about her is the medium fireball changing up that fireball timing. She can actually kind of like
Yeah, no,
keep
medium
you
fireball
spaced
being fast
really
is now
well.
really good. Yeah, like she can actually control the space pretty well. Granted, the zoning is probably her weakest aspect, unironically. Her big danger is this close range.
is probably the weakest.
No,
That 2L
this
distance
7
kinda makes
framer.
me-
This 7 framer is a nightmare.
Yeah. Although like
And then
I'm
you
not
have
thinking
this.
of the 7 framer as close range. I'm thinking of it more as like the mid range option.
Fair enough. I guess in my mind, 2M in this is like close range offense a little bit. Like, it's spaced offense, but Catalina's space offense is actually something that Galleon can kind of struggle with compared to the
Yeah.
other members of the cast. Because this far heavy also is just... It's specifically, her space offense is really scary because of this little lariat.
Yep.
Like, this actually makes the space
So
offense
quick,
because she
too.
can actually whip punish it. And it's also just so safe. Like, this is why, like, with this, it's specifically like this sequence right here, Galleon is so hard for her to deal with. Like, Catalina's
Like
space
the obvious
offense
answer is the 6XL, but since Galleon's 6XL goes nowhere,
it doesn't
it's
work.
kind of like it doesn't work.
And Galleon's other options for dealing with space offense are being baited here. Like, she's dancing around them or it's too fast.
Yep.
Remember, 5U is 18 frames. That Lariat is 21 frames.
And it takes a step back. I think at that range, though, I don't think it gets out of 5U range. I think it just dances in the max range.
Yeah. Granted, the 5U buff helps quite a bit.
Yep. We love the 5U buff.
But no, it's stuff like that where basically Katalina can kind of play the mid-range with Galleon and make it really hard. But then her up-close pressure is also kind of dangerous. And her space offense is one of the few space offenses in this game that can actually give Galleon a lot of trouble.
Yep. But I think that's like just the character's design space.
That's
like,
that's
what she's meant to
no,
do.
that is the thing. It's because Katalina is designed to do that. So against Galleon, it works really well and makes it really hard.
Yep.
All right, Zeta.
Zeta.
This is kind of.
I don't really know, to be honest. Ever since they removed the high-low, I've not seen very many Zetas.
Zeta is basically either even or slight disadvantage. Because basically Zeta can zone with the laser like Ilsa, but it's far weaker and far less reward. But Zeta also has a lot more air stuff and can kind of fight back a little bit because her air isn't just like an air grab victim. Compared to like other members of the cast. Because like she can kind of bait you out with certain stuff. Granted, you can still kind of air catch her very often. And once again,
that's where my mind goes.
Her defense is parry.
Yeah. But the other thing about the parry is that it's not like you can react to the parry and then grab it, because she's doing the follow-up like, what is it, like 13 frames after the parry comes out? She can do a 8-frame follow-up.
Yeah.
And then they made the medium version of it. The medium follow-up is invincible now, so I don't think you can grab it anymore. I haven't checked that, but like, you can't
There's
grab
also the fact that like, if you're going for a command grab and Vira just Zeta can just do that on a grab on jumping command grab.
Yeah.
So I would give it slight disadvantage, but there's also the fact that matter is it's still a parry at the end that you can grab.
Yeah.
And also a lot of Zeta's follow-up options lose to just waiting.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like,
you just wait for the parry.
You wait for Zeta to do something stupid, and then you punish her for it, but if the Zeta never does anything stupid, then how do you win?
This is also the whole zoning aspect here, where like she wants to mix up her timings, but you can almost always can just catch her eventually with a 2-2 and then get in from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would give it to slight disadvantage for Zeta, and give it to Zeta a little bit because those are some pretty annoying options to deal with.
Yeah, I'd have to defer to your judgment on this one. I just am completely unstudied.
It's basically kind of so much like Beelzebub, basically. Think of her as like a bit of a more annoying Beelzebub.
Yeah, I think of her as a Beelzebub, but she doesn't get that much like pressure reward off of her aerial stuff. Outside of the pogo
And her
stuff,
zoning isn't as good.
Yep. Kag though, I think Kag's a need to work for it, or a dear God help. She's down there.
It's near to work for her. Because because the thing is, you can actually pull some stuff against Kag.
I think if the Kag plays the matchup well, if the Kag knows the matchup really well, it evolves into a dear God help, because like, what do you do against the Kag who has set up like a little nest of traps on one end of the screen and is just like spear zoning you the entire game?
That's actually kind of Kag's worst option to do, unironically.
Really?
Kag wants to be playing the mid-range, like Kag wants to be doing like the up-close and trap mix-up stuff. Because
but like in the neutral, before anyone gets any knockdowns, before anyone gets any hits, what does Galleon do against a Kag who's nested herself in traps? Like, she has to navigate through the traps. Her only option to clear it is 2M.
Which one's the Pierce special again?
It is forward.
Okay. The thing is that there are ways to actually punish the Kag for Pierce spamming with timing your 5Us, or actually also getting your traps in. Like this, granted, I'm not saying that Kag is not the one in the driver's seat for a lot of this. But if Kag plays it a bit too fast and loose, she can fall into one of this, and then you're certainly in control.
Yeah, that I mean, like, more so like the state of which you're in control of the game is.
Ironically, like, if Kag starts doing the trap stuff, you want to actually, as Galleon, go full screen.
Really? What do you do full screen?
Because because now Kag has to either spend a cooldown to use her pierces or start walking up. And in those walk-ups is when you can start catching it with this. Or, because the thing is, when Kag is doing this, Kag also needs to charge up the rock. Or you can also start doing this also to start threatening this. Because basically the idea is you want to be outside of the Kag's Pierce Fang. Because at this range, you're outside of Kag Pierce, so Kag has to either walk up and try to do Pierce, at which point you can time a 2-2-U on, or basically like, you start doing this to get Meter to get 2-2-U.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess like my only pushback to that would be like Kag can microdash spear, and that's almost unreactable compared to the regular spear. Like she's just closing that distance really quickly. And
Yeah, but microdash spear is like you just hold the, because if you're doing this slow walkback stuff, you can block microdash.
Yeah, you're gonna hold it, but it's like if you're giving up space, like as Galleon you don't want to be in the corner, and Kag is a corner demon as well. So I'm not a big fan of like just saying, oh, I want to give up all this space to.
That's why I didn't say it's always something you should do. It's just one of your options that you have to deal with it. Yeah. Because this is one of the answers. The other answer is also just be patient and just eat a few spike traps so you're in this range to where you can start beating her out with far heavy. Because once again, Kag has a bit of a defense problem against Galleon.
That's about yeah.
Especially because of how they changed how our far heavy stuff now works.
Yeah, isn't it like I'd have to refresh on it, but like it's more minus.
It's more
and
minus.
Is the gap between like her cancels bigger now?
I don't remember. I don't think so. How do you launch a rock? Oh, hold forward.
6U. Yeah.
Like, I think this is still a very problematic tag sequence.
Yeah, somebody hit me with that at my local, and I'm like, what do I do against that pressure? Because I was sitting there for like at least 20 seconds, just holding far heavy into 6U, into like some other mix-up, and like, what do I do there? And he's like, he was like at a loss for words. He didn't know how to explain how do I get out of that. And it feels like bad. But I think that's just a Kag thing. Like that's something
that is just a Kag thing. However, there is something you can also. That is one thing about Kag, but there's also a neat little thing.
Watching?
You can dive grab it if she's spamming far heavy.
Hell yeah, the dive grab tech.
Granted, now it's -9 though, so if I recall correctly, you can also just like start punishing her now with this.
Interesting.
There's also the fact now since it's -9 and with the pushback, you kind of just farm medium now. Like her offense there got a lot more worse. There's also the thing a lot of Kags like to do air teleport stuff, which is
yeah, I don't really like respect the air teleport stuff because like it's a gimmick at best. Like if you're not ready for it, it can be real.
To be fair, Kag kind of has to use it quite a bit because of how 5U works in this matchup and 2-3U works in this matchup. Yeah. So it is actually that Kag has to use in the neutral.
Yeah, I would say she's using it to try and catch it more so than she is trying to like initiate her game.
I would still give this is definitely a Kag favorite matchup because Kag can just overwhelm you. But Galleon has some answers, but this is I wouldn't say this is like a dear God help situation.
Yeah. Okay, I can take that. Siegfried though, I think
Siegfried.
I don't know where I know I stand on disadvantage because Siegfried is just super belligerent.
Siegfried is basically the same. Siegfried has the same situation as Katalina basically. Here's my hot take. So beforehand, Sieg and Galleon was already kind of like a near even matchup with a slight favor of advantage to Siegfried. The buffs that both characters received basically kept them same. That's how I have it in my eyes.
In my eyes, the range increase to his 2-1-4 is what kind of swung it a little more in his favor. Because
yeah, but then you have
to space yourself so far.
You have to space yourself a bit more far, but the thing is, you can interrupt his 2-1-4H stuff already.
Yeah, the charge version, yeah, you could always do that. But like,
if you do far heavy first, if you do far heavy and he does 2-1-4H at the same time, he's losing.
Right, yeah. But if you're slightly out of the range, you can't do that.
That is true. But the thing is also, once again, there's a sweet spot where Galleon's mid-range is better.
Yeah.
And also, we have 2-2M now.
True. But I don't think 2-2M works as much as it does in some other matchups, because
The
he
2-2
wants to be, like, right there.
Well, the thing
Like,
is,
he wants to be space.
the thing is that the other big change that Siegfried got was his zoning tool change. And 2-2M kind of creates this very dynamic mix-up between trying to dome him on the fireball or trying to deal him with rushing in.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. Granted, I will say the matchup is probably a bit Sieg favored, but Double Rock is also just really strong.
Yeah, I think Siegfried just has lower risk and higher reward.
I will say, there's something I do want to make mention is if Siegfried does max range 2M, he cannot do 2M again. The
I
reason
keep trying that and I keep getting owned. Like, I think I heard you say that once and I tried it and I was like, what the fuck? Why does it work?
As you can see, granted, as always, he can just do Fireball. But yeah, no, you should be able to get far heavy there if he does a spaced 2M there.
Okay.
And that's like one of his biggest offensive pressures is doing that offense, which means if Galleon has like a consistent way to deal with it, it's why I give her a bit more props. But yeah, no, this is a slight favor to Siegfried, especially with how 214H works now, because that does cover a lot of distance. And Siegfried can just start spamming this. Like, this is...
I think, like, the thing that filters me is the light fireball into light slam. Like, spacing around that is just really difficult mid-screen.
Yeah. But that's why I talked about, like, the changes between 2-2L and 2-2M, because you can kind of get the Siegfried to start dancing to your tune a little bit if they start paying attention to trap.
I'll have to try that.
But yeah, no, this is a Siegfried favored matchup. It's just, it's not as bad as people think.
So what do you think about Vane?
This is a need to work for a tier.
Yeah, I feel like when
the big problem is that Vane can kind of just start spamming energy destruction, and it's really hard for you to answer back to.
Yeah.
And any 5U can be hard call out by this.
Yeah, by the jump one.
And also Galleon, because the thing is, Vane wants to do space offense, and Galleon's really good against space offense. This kind of invalidates Galleon's whole space offense.
Well, the shield, your 5U goes through shield.
Yeah, but you're doing a -8. It's once again, it's always that thing you have to be a bit careful with. Like, you still have stuff, but remember, 5U is a hard call out in space offense. Typically, Galleon wants to get a poke into 5U.
Maybe that's a difference between us. I think 5U is a pretty decent poke. It's really high risk.
Oh yeah, no, it's a decent poke. That's what I'm saying. It's still a hard call out, but it's a bit more risky compared to other stuff. But it is definitely one of your pokes. It is a poke that you have.
I think that's what like, it at least forces the Vane into their layer 2 zoning game plan. Like, if they have the shield and you're charging 5U and they haven't committed to an energy destruction yet, they have to think. They have to be like, I need to react to this with the jumping one.
But yeah, that's kind of why I put him in need to work and not Dear God Help.
Yeah.
Because once again, Vane has the mirrorless DP problem. Where he kind of
his meter DP is, I don't think his meter DP is that good either. I think the step
and
that he goes forward is nice.
There's also the fact that, like, his offense is kind of like being like, if Galleon gets the ball rolling, Vane can never get shield up in time.
Yep, that's another thing.
It's just more often than not, Vane will get shield up in time and make it really hard for you, and it's harder for you to break out than it is for him to break out.
Another thing about the Vane matchup is his round starts are really, really, really hard for Galleon to deal with.
Yeah, he kind of also has. You have to play passive round start typically.
Pretty much, like, he just does backdash, and you're like, oh, well, I either have to take the biggest risk of my life or lose. Like, something that I do is I do a microdash 236H to try and catch him when he backdashes into energy destruction. And that's like, it's like 25
Well, you
frames of
can
walking forward.
do 236M round start a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't been sold on that quite yet because I'm still kind of in the mindset of pre-buff 236M.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even still, that's a 30 frame commitment. It loses the energy destruction if he just does it, and it loses to like any of his other round starts.
That
which
is
are
true.
Already pretty decent.
If you noticed, I probably have gone over a little bit of some of the characters just because obviously that was recorded a while ago, and in the editing process, I've learned a little bit more information. Not much of what me and LaCroix said that I don't believe is wrong. Is that there's a little bit more information I wanted to add, specifically in the case of Vane. So, I originally said that Vane was a hard matchup to work for. However, I think he has become an even harder matchup as I discovered a thing. Particularly in the case of energy destruction. So, the fact of the matter is, after energy destruction, the best way to counteract it is a spot dodge, right? And then, I would say, like, Galleon can then do stuff like 5U and such. But the problem is with Vane, is that Vane has all the opportunity to just wait after an energy destruction. Because everything that Galleon has to respond to, like, Vane just doing this over and over, is something that basically creates a window of opportunity for Vane. If Galleon tries to do a 5U, for example, so dodge this and try to go for this, she gets a full-on counter hit and can get comboed off completely. And this is not something that has to be like a hard call out. Vane can't do this if you're trying to charge up 5U potentially, which is something to be worried about. But he also has just all the time in the world to just wait and press buttons like this, because at a certain range, Galleon kind of has to be the one to approach because his damage is a lot more easy to cause chip, and it's really hard for Galleon to put down trap in this situation. Because generally, you want to trap off Oki or when there's a downtime in neutral. However, anytime you can do that, you get a counter hit, and then Vane goes for something like this, and then you take a lot of damage from trying to put down a trap, which can make things really problematic. Ironically, if Vane starts trying to put down shield more often than not, Galleon her chances actually get better. And it's not because like Galleon can fight shield well. No, the main reason why is because the amount of tempo Vane gives up to do this actually gives Galleon time to respond with a 5U or a 2-2U before Vane can start doing this again. Basically, the best way for Vane to play the matchup is to basically be basically a warding button zoner by doing this over and over and just making Galleon's life actual hell to get in. And just make it extremely difficult for Galleon to basically do anything here. And because of that, I think the matchup is a lot more worse than how I originally spoke about it, because this is very flowcharty. It's like very flowcharty in Vane, but Vane being very flowcharty against a Galleon and still having a good chance of winning just by being a flowchart, being that strong against Galleon, yeah, I think the matchup is a lot more worse than I originally explained.
But yeah, that's kind of why I haven't been need to work for it, because it can be a bit tricky.
Yeah.
Vicala. So I think Vicala was originally a need to work for it that has been upgraded to Dear God Help.
Okay, thank you for completely validating me, because I thought Vicala was the reason that Galleon was bottom 5 before the buffs. Because if she was the worst character in the game and Galleon couldn't compete with her, like, what does that make Galleon?
The thing
now
is,
she's like actually decent.
Yeah. So the thing is, Vicala was a character that didn't function, but the things that functioned worked really good against Galleon.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly,
I think like if you just have any kind of layered zoning game plan.
Yeah, because the biggest
Galleon.
problem is like she just gets to put up so much pressure, and her far heavy is so problematic to deal with.
It's so big.
And then you have to do this the whole time.
That's the other thing, is that it's fast. It's kind of hard to whiff punish the far heavy.
And then like there's like so much pressure that it's really hard for Galleon to find an opportunity. Vicala also for some reason has a 7-frame medium.
Yeah. And it's a far medium, so it's got extra range. So
Yeah, I don't understand why she has why the zoner has a 7-frame medium, but I don't. But this actually is also a really big sticking point because grad tech is really bad for Galleon now, also because of that. And Ficala's...
Did they ever change the like the close light? For Vicala, she didn't have the forward walk lockout as other characters did. Did they ever change that?
I do not know. I would not know.
Okay.
I think not.
But yeah, basically all of her projectiles are very problematic to deal with. Her far heavy is a nightmare in zoning against Galleon. Galleon needs to try to get a 5U or a 2-2U at point, but it can get counter hit by this if she's too slow on it.
Yeah, I think if she has any of her items on screen, like if she has like a star bouncing around or a spike ball, Galleon just can't do anything. But that might also just be like in general nobody can do anything. The things
just...
that I try to look for is like when she does the summon the trap, you can 2-2U it on reaction sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah,
outside
it's
of
not
that,
easy.
It's kind of like, yeah.
But yeah, that's Ficala.
At least she has low health and her DP is not that good.
Okay.
Like those are the only two shining things. Like,
next
you get a good hit,
next
she
is
dies.
Grimnir. This is also a need to work for it character in my eyes.
Yeah.
He's
I feel
basically
like Grimnir.
he's basically a high damage rushdown character that can actually mix up his approaches.
He's the only aerial character in the game that you don't beat with command grab. or
Yeah,
with
he
your
can bait
air
out
grab.
your air grab quite reliably. It's also really hard to deal with Zeals, and his mix-up game is actually kind of problematic because his offense isn't spaced offense. It's that up-close mix-up where you're kind of having to guess, which is where Galleon's defense is really bad.
Yep. I don't even think there's much more that needs to be said. Like he's got a decent fireball. He can hold space. Versusia is much the same. Like
Versusia is Versusia is basically more into the zoning aspect as Grimnir. It's just Galleon also has a lot more answers for it though. Like she can roll her orb, she can punish her orb 5U with stuff.
Yeah.
And she actually has a pretty decent round start chance of winning.
Yeah. I think Versusia is like the zoner version of Basaraga, where you really want to work to not let her get her stock up. And a lot of that kind of comes in the round start option. Like if you get a good round start against her, she kind of falls over until she gets 50 meter, and then she can kind of fight back. But until then, like even if you're mid-screen,
her zoning is really
rough.
hard to deal with.
And she's another one of those characters that is just kind of like a backdash merchant.
Yeah, the backdash,
you can just backdash for free,
and then jump scare with this.
Yeah, and then the jump scare, especially with the stock up. That's like the reason why I don't want her to have stock is because if she can do that, I don't feel safe walking forward at all. It's just like one of the hardest, like one of the most focus requiring zoners. I think. Because her zoning game plan is kind of simple, but you need to make sure you're making the right decision.
Yeah, how they all interact with each other makes it really hard. But once again, this is a character. Once Galleon finally does get the chance in, it's a nightmare.
It's hard for her to get out. Yep, I agree.
But yeah,
Although
that's why I put it to Nier to work for it.
2U kind of ruins almost everything.
Yeah, once again, her having a 7-frame sweep is kind of insane.
You can't walk back, you get proximity, and it's a low, so...
Alright, Meterra is just a clear Dear God Help also.
Yeah, Dear God Help. I think
granted,
it's not
less
as bad
than
as
Ferry. Less bad than Ferry, you can, and if you're really focused, you can outplay the Meterra. I think I showed that a few streams ago where I was fighting Mio, and Mio was like,
Ferry's
God
like
damn it, I hate this
zoner,
matchup.
Or like Ferry, Vicala, and I guess Eustace as well, because he's right up next to her. You can get through their zoning game plans, and you can interrupt them if you have a good call out, but it's so hard and so infrequently that you have the opportunity to do so without something that's like making you block right then and there. And Meterra is like the best example of that. Like having a butterfly on you is saying, oh, I'm going to eat this next rain of arrows, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Meterra is at the point, fun fact, we've had a Meterra top 1, I think, longer than we have Nier top 1.
It might be the case.
Because
I can't wait for Meterra to die. He's gonna be in the slums with Nier.
They're not probably gonna do that again, but yeah. Eustace, once again, I put him.
I think right next to Vikala, honestly. I
Yeah.
think he's kind of got the same game plan as Versusia, except his little jump scare dash is a low, so he catches you walking backwards.
He catches,
It's, like,
yeah, he
really
catches you
easy to be
walking
safe.
backward a lot.
Yeah, it's really easy to be safe. And he has better Oki situations with Blue Grenade. He's just kind of better at everything Versusia does, but Versusia does a little bit more damage.
Yeah.
A lot more damage.
I will
actually.
say you have a bit more chances to interrupt him compared to like Vikala, but basically he's in the middle stage between what Versusia and Vikala.
Yeah, I agree.
This was a bit of a lightning round.
I mean, like, there's not much to say against a zoner versus like the grappler-esque characters. Like you're gonna lose. You're not gonna have fun.
2B is
Lock
a
in.
need to work for it, surprisingly.
Yes. I think 2B is the most backflip merchant of backflip merchants, but she can't stay backflip merchanting the entire game because she will run out of skill gauge, and then she's kind of like shit out of luck.
You're also a character that can actually reliably whiff punish 2B. And if she's trying to do like air stall shenanigans or double jump stuff, you can just actually catch her.
There is only one situation where 2B cannot get grabbed by 623H, and that's if she super jumps. At the apex, she double jumps, and then at the apex, she air stalls. That is the only height that she can have where Galleon's grab will not get her. So it's really nice to keep her grounded.
Yeah,
but outside of that,
and since she's being forced to play grounded, she has to play with this and laser. Laser is pretty good. Laser is pretty good, but she eats up her skill gauge. If she doesn't have skill gauge, then she's not gonna be able to do anything. Yeah, and you just need to react spot dodge to the chain.
Yep, pretty much. Or if you're at that spacing, if you're full screen on the chain, you insta brave counter it and you get a throw punish.
Yeah, I know about that stuff as well. There's also another thing about 2B, is that if 2B is in the corner, this is also really bad. Because 2B does not have a far light.
Yep.
It's this, which is a 6-framer.
Although 5LL is like, it's like a pseudo far light. Like doing the whiff cancel light after the first 5L.
But yeah,
I mean, you're not whiff punishing that, and it's probably gonna catch you.
But the problem is that like 2B, remember, because of how 2B jump, like 2B needs to try to double jump out, where you just either grab her in the air or you keep her down in here the whole time. And just get a counter hit punish because her buttons are too slow. Like, a 2B in the corner is going to struggle massively to get out. And also, one of 2B's like main like up close like run options, which is like this type of stuff, or like the backdash parry stuff. This actually gets hit by the 2H stuff. I mean,
the 2H.
I mean the far heavy.
Yeah, if she parries the far heavy, she actually can't punish it. She's
even. Like
so
far
you can play RPS off of the parry.
Yeah, like 2B actually has a really hard time dealing with far heavy actually at this range.
Yep. It's
Because,
super
like,
active. It'll crush all of her heavy follow-ups.
It crushes her run-in.
Yeah, it crushes everything that she does. The biggest like threat that her parry kind of exists in is the throw tech. Because she can just run at you, and it's super hard to react to, and you have to like delay something.
Yeah, no, that is true. Most of the cast will have trouble with far heavy ranges, but then certain members of the cast deal with it even harder. Yes, you did miss Bubs Kuragaki.
I think the like the characters that do well against Galleon are the characters that don't have to
entertain that.
Yeah, the range. Where they're just like, I'm staying all the way over here, or I'm already in your face. What are you gonna do about that?
I will say there is this pressure which can be really hard for Galleon to deal with.
I like to think of it as like, if she's just doing that, the stagger 5H, 5HH, like that's 5U range. She's in 5U range. If she hesitates for 1 second on that stagger, she's gonna get counter hit by that. So she has to like be on top of doing it as soon as she can. So you have to execute on defense. Like as soon as you recognize that that's what she's doing, you just execute. You gotta like say fuck it, bro.
Yeah, you are correct on that. It's just like I'm just trying to point out some difficulties and such. Because this will be the most problematic thing to deal with. But honestly, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, the more we
you were
keep
saying
this,
in the
the more
Discord,
we keep discussing, the more I'm tempted to put this down to disadvantage instead of work for.
I think the corner reward, like if you ever corner her, like that's what you need to work for, and getting her in that corner is like
the hard
work
part.
for it. Yeah, because she's just so
Yeah.
slippery. She has good ranged options, and then you also have to be ready to react for the run in. Like it's something that you have to be like.
Yeah.
Awake
All right, we'll
and
keep her
aware
then. But
consistently.
I think I'll put
Yeah.
her like around the same area as Vane then.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like
All right.
if you're gonna order it, and then Lance is a disadvantage in my eyes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a need to work for it or like at the very bottom of
That's
disadvantage.
where I'm also kind of struggling with. Like I don't know if he's like the biggest disadvantage or like the least need to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I would say need to work for it just because
he needs to. You have to rework your entire offensive game plan.
Yeah, I would say the wall leap is super annoying to deal with. There's heights that he can just completely avoid the grab.
The biggest aspects of Lancelot that makes this really hard is the fact that the matter is his EX Fireball with this is really hard to answer with if you're not tutoing, if you don't react in time. If you don't react in time, you just have to hold it.
Yeah.
Another
and the
thing
reaction is hard, isn't it? Like a 40-something frame rate.
It's hard,
animation.
but then the biggest other problem is this right here. That little wall jump pisses me off so much.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Because if you don't wait correctly, you can whiff your anti-air grab on this.
This is for you.
Which is super annoying. And in mid-screen also, Lance can do stuff like this, where counter-attack, counter-on block, yeah, turbulence. No, it's Stubborn Cross.
Yes, yeah, where he can like fuck with the
Oh, it's not Stubborn Cross, it was turbulence.
trap placement.
Well, it's stuff like this, where basically, if you're trying to go for a lot of your 5U stuff, he can kind of just do that to you and punish you.
Yep.
So Lance can kind of get out of a lot of your pressure, especially your stagger pressure. Like if you're staggering a bit too long, you can kind of get caught.
Although, like, I will say, if he's trying to do that, then it's like
you need to react with
another
the
RPS.
you need to react with the light grab.
I don't know, because the attack is immune to it too.
The attack
So
is
I think,
immune
like,
to it as well. Like that's the thing. But there's also lenses that do like the teleport down to the ground to bait out the 2H stuff.
Yeah. That's valid.
But yeah, basically there's like a whole RPS in the middle of your stagger pressure, which is not something nice to deal with.
It's not fun to play RPS on your own offense. Yeah.
The thing is though, is that Lance is a low HP character, and when you finally do get the actual hit, he will explode.
Yeah, he will explode.
But the problem is getting that hit.
Yeah, getting the hit. Yep, I agree.
But yeah, this is why I would put him to like a need to work for. But compared to like the other need to work fors, because like the thing is, a lot of Lance's offense is also fake. He's trying to he's just trying to make you scared. If you if you play patiently, you'll eventually get a chance to hit him. And he's like the biggest character of getting just counter hit in the middle of his offense and dying for it.
Yep.
Like he's the biggest character that this happens to him so often. Like this situation right here.
The poor guy.
It's basically like the Chip Potemkin matchup, basically.
I don't know about that, but it's a funny comparison.
It's a funny comparison. Look, if you had a single Brave counter there, already wasted, he dies there.
Probably. I will say that
yeah, that's the whole intention.
Like
He's supposed to get
Grimnir,
you the panic.
They balance HP in this game really well. Like the most volatile characters having the least HP. I think that's a pretty good. Lever that they
Grimnir
can
needs to
use
get a
going.
damage nerf.
I know he needs to have less HP. I think if he has less HP, then he kind of gets to have the crazy offense that he has.
He either gets to keep he either has to become as squishy as Avatar or he has to drop the damage.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
All right, that's the current chart. We're probably moving Vira up. Let's move Vira up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
EX Gran up.
Compared to Gran, yeah, putting Vira and Beatrix in the same tier is kind of like, I don't know about that one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is kind of the chart.
Yep, I agree. I like this chart.
But as you can see, a lot of the Shotos, in particularly, Galleon will either have a good chance against a character that has a lot of Shoto fault. Basically, with Shotos, it tends to be a bit more even, but I feel like that might just be comfortability, because it feels like I'm almost always in control when I'm fighting against Shotos.
Yeah, I think that feeling kind of comes from Galleon forces them to play differently than they would every other matchup, where they want to hang around that mid-range, but Galleon they don't. So they're probably either not comfortable playing longer or closer ranges.
It was me that called
like,
it. It was me, Poltergust, that wrote that.
Yeah.
I still do think she does really well into almost all the Shotos. The only exception is Katalina.
I think I still maintain if the Shoto player knows that they can just sit full screen and kind of force Galleon out of her comfort zone, then they'll have a much better time. But most Shoto players are going to be like, hey, 6XL, you want a 6XL right now, you want to play in the mid range so you can 6XL, and then they die. I
will say the Shotos that did get out of the even close advantage were Shotos that had had an X factor. For example, Narmaya had the flip X factor, and Setsuna could actually fight for mid range and win it. Katalina has the whole 2-1-4 spacing stuff that can make her actually win mid range and actually fight for it. Every other Shoto, however, you'll notice is either even or at disadvantage.
Yep, I think that's valid. I think that's pretty valid.
Basically, if you're a Shoto, you need to have an X factor. Sieg
is just belligerent.
Sieg's edge factor is he's belligerent and is insanely high damage, and he can also fight him. They buffed his 2-1-4 to an insane degree.
Cap.
To be fair, I think it's a closer matchup with Siegfried. Siegfried is probably closer to over here. The closer you are over here, the closer to an even matchup it is in my eyes.
Yeah, in my eyes, it's the Beelzebub is a 0.3-ish disadvantage, but Katalina is probably closer to a 0.7, 0.8 disadvantage, and the need to work for it is 6-4.
Kind of around that. Djeeta and Gran should be these three should all be next to each other. Probably closer to it, like that.
I think I would also move the Beatrix in between Meg and Yool. I think it's more closer than than having it almost the 5th best matchup. Then EX Djeeta all the way at the bottom.
EX Djeeta, I don't care. A little bit.
Dude,
we're not doing. We're just doing a general idea.
I hope they do continue with the EX characters though.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool idea.
Even
if it didn't work out, it's pretty cool.
But yeah, this is the matchup chart for Galleon out of the most recent patch, and a little bit of discussion of all the characters. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are curious about checking out this information, Lequai, the person I have over here with me, was actually the person that updated the Dust Loop page on Galleon, which they're actually kind of working on the matchup chart stuff also right now. So this was also kind of a study guide for them.
A good opportunity to kind of start thinking about some of these other matchups, especially the Soriz matchup, which I really had not thought about at all. The Zeta matchup, where I was really unstudied in. I think it's a good insight into these matchups for me to go and post some stuff, write some paragraphs on the Dust Loop, because I love doing it and it's fun.
But yeah, if you guys want to check that out, you just go to Dust Loop and you'll click on Rising and then click on the character and you'll be able to see that information. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. I've been Lazy Ruin, and I'll catch you all next time, alright? Bye everyone!